condition of the sheets in the mattress indicate that someone else was in the bed with Amanda just before she died. That's A.
What's B?
B is I'm supposed to tell you you're breaking in a new partner in on this.
Partner again?
Yeah, some cat he's on loan from dope. Real burnout, on the ragged edge.
Oh, perfect. Gun! Gun!
Raj, meet your new partner.
I'm too old for this shit.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 15 of the Lethal Geeks podcast. I am your host, Sergeant Murtaugh. My partner,
Leo gets in the house tonight as well, guys. Thank you all for being here. My partner
is missing in action tonight. We do not have my partner Riggs. He is I guess he's at a some event or something like that.
I think it was a family function of some sort. I can't remember exactly, but it's
all
good, guys.
We are a short one, but we are going to have a good stream tonight, guys. We got a few topics to go over here. We're going to keep it nice and tight here for about 2 hours or so. Our special guest will be joining us here momentarily, Real Shift Joe. He is a man after my own heart, a cinephile. He loves reviewing movies and critiquing movies and breaking down everything from how that movie was shot, talking about the actors, the whole bit. So it's going to be an interesting show there. Rock, you got anything?
No, man. I'm excited, man. We do got quite a bit lined up. Like you said, we got Real Shift coming on, and looking forward to that. We got a full house as well in the chat. I noticed. Charles, let's highlight some of these guys, man. I see.
All right, we got DC Talk 82. What's up, brother? Yeah. We got
Hollywood Will Burn.
What's up, man?
Very interesting name.
Sergeant, hey, how you doing, Sergeant?
Nice to see you, Sergeant. Rebel Moon Theory.
Rebel Moon Theory. What up? All right, who else we got in here? DC Talk. We got
Demi Ray
in the house. Thank
nice
you for showing up.
I see fourth 1,000. We went by him. We passed that. It's all good. Fourth 1,000.
Hey, what's up, Ford? All right. Chris Brown.
We got Breezy in the house once again. Thank you, Breezy. Gilmore Girls fan.
Hey,
Thank you for being here.
Future Tron. What's up? All right. South
Cali guy.
All right.
Packed house, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a packed house tonight. South Cali. Oh, there he is. Sin Havoc. What's up, brother?
Perfect. All right.
Okay. We miss anybody? We good?
Mad Max. I see Mad Max.
There we go.
Yeah. I think that's about everybody.
All
right. Real quick. Charles, why don't we get to the rules of the platform real quick?
Absolutely. So, guys, the rules of the platform are simple. We don't care what side of the fandom that you fall on, whether you're a Snyder fan, whether you're a Gunn fan, whether you're a Christopher Nolan fan. We don't give a crap. What we like to do is we like to come here, talk about movies and geek out about comics, movies, TV shows, games, and all of that good stuff. Give our critiques on them, and obviously the thoughts from the chat as well. Just keep it respectful. If you keep it respectful, it's all good. But if you jump in the chat, start talking about people or denigrating people, we can't have that. So you will get banned for that. So just keep it respectful, keep it tight. It's all good. So
awesome. Perfect.
All right. So I wanted to get to our first topic. We are
monetized.
Officially monetized now. And I want to say that is definitely due to no small part of the chat.
It's due to you guys.
It's because of you guys. that believed in us and decided you wanted to give us a chance and come to our platform and see what we're all about. That caused our numbers to grow. So we really, really do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
There's not much more I can say to that. I mean, thank you guys so much for giving us the opportunity to do this, and just for being here for us, for supporting us, man. Like, you guys made this all happen. You guys made this all very real, and we thank you for that, man. So going forward, we're like I said, we're gonna do our best to continue to bring you guys some quality content, some quality interviews, and we're gonna be investing back into the Lethal Geeks. We'll be investing back into this platform. So we want to thank you guys for that, and we look forward to being able to keep on doing this, and for you guys to being able to support us.
Absolutely. And then keep in mind, like I said, the very first thing that I said when we first started this, our mission statement was back then, and it still is, this fandom is completely divided, especially when it comes to DC. We wanted to do something and start something that at least try to bring everybody together. We've been fighting enough. We've been arguing with each other enough. We want people to come together and say, hey, we can respect both sides of this fandom, and we can like what we like, and just keep it about that instead of making it personal or making it political, because it's really not. It's in the end, guys, it's just cape shit. It's just cape shit. It's not anybody's. It's not serious like that. It doesn't mean that you gotta threaten people and try to ban people and all that other kind of stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is 5-year-old stuff, and it's really time to stop. So that's primarily why we started this channel. We want everybody to be able to come in here, come in a chat, come on to our platform, and discuss things with us and talk about geek stuff. Just geek out. The world is already a nightmare. We don't need it to be a nightmare in here as well. So
yeah. 100%, Charles.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody respecting that, and like I said, we're open to everybody that wants to come on the channel. That is why we started this. That is why we bring guests on, because we like talking to other people and getting their perspectives on this whole geek fandom thing. So we appreciate you guys understanding that, and thank you so much.
Yeah, once again, guys, thank you guys so much. You guys have no idea how much we appreciate all this support. So thank you. All right, what do we got next, Charles?
All right, so we got my man coming up. So our next fans journey is going to be with Real Shift. If you guys do not know who he is a very, very heavy hitter when it comes to reviewing movies. He gives in-depth analysis of movies, films, TV shows, whatever you can think of. That's this guy, and he doesn't pick a side. If it's trash or he thinks it's trash, he gonna tell you it's trash. If it's good, he's gonna tell you it's good, but he's also gonna break down why he thinks it's good or bad. So Real Shift Joe, we're about to bring him on now. Everybody, welcome to the stage, my man.
What is
Real
going
Shift
on?
Welcome, buddy. Welcome to the platform.
What's up, guys? How you doing? What's up to the chat? Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
100%, man.
I've been looking forward to this. I haven't done a live stream in a little bit. So, yeah. I don't get a lot of collaborations with other creators, so I tend to upset other creators more than I do anything else.
Oh, we go
we're gonna talk about that.
But,
we gonna get into it, bro.
Yeah. But it's nice to be welcomed onto someone else's platform. I really appreciate that. So thank you for having me. Yeah.
You're very much welcome, buddy.
Yeah. All right. So, man, we're gonna dive into it. Obviously, look at the man's wall on the background. Homie is a cinephile. I don't care what anybody says.
That is an incredible collection. Bro.
He is a cinephile. Now, it looks like back there you collect all forms of media. So not just DVDs and Blu-rays, but you go old school with the VHSs and all other kind of stuff, right?
I specialize in VHS because that was the medium that I grew up with and that I have a lot of love for. So I love VHS cover art. Like, really, that's really what it comes down to. Like, to me, DVDs and Blu-rays, they don't compare as far as the cover art goes. It's just like there is no comparison. So I felt since I'm starting a movie channel, why not display the collection I have? And it's just grown and grown over the years because I'm still collecting. So it's just like I thought there was no better way to show off how much I love movies than to put this behind me. So
that is absolutely incredible, my friend. Absolutely incredible.
There we go. There we go. All right, man. Let's dive right into it. Number one question, bro.
Okay, I'm on the
What
hot
was
seat
your
now.
first cinematic experience as a kid?
My first cinematic experience. You know, I
Where
had
you
this
were
question.
blown away.
Oh, where I was just blown away. Okay,
Blown away.
that's a
The
little bit
one,
easier.
the one standout for you as a
Yeah.
as a kid growing up.
That's a little bit better. To be quite honest with you, because I always think about what my first experience was, and I don't really remember, honestly enough, because I went to the movies so much as a kid. Like it was like a staple with my family. Like every week we go to the movies, basically. So, but I do know that like one of the things that stood out to me most, believe it or not, was it was going to see a movie at the movie theater that I had already seen 1,000 times, but it was when they re-released the original Star Wars trilogy in the theater. It was back right before the prequels came out, and I specifically remember my dad taking me to go see A New Hope in the theater.
Oh, that's right, they did.
Yeah, and it actually like I was already a huge Star Wars fan, but it made me even more of a Star Wars fan just to see this movie I had grown to love already as a kid up on the big screen like that. It could, and plus it had the new scenes, which is.
I was going to say that was like the special editions, right?
Yeah. It's a little bit controversial because of that. It probably could have done without that part, but to be quite honest, like that moment, I think was the time when like I fully appreciated movie theaters, because it was like, man, it's just such a different experience for me. I talk about this on my channel all the time, like the theater experience. I could watch a bad movie in the movie theater and have a good time. Like I can, like, you know what I mean? It's everybody thinks I'm angry and that I hate everything that I do. And it's not that at all. Like I just love the theater experience. I really do. And that one always stands out to me for some reason. I don't know how old I was at that time. I guess I was, let's see, I was probably, I guess I was around 10, right? Yeah, something like that. I know I had been to movies prior to that, but that was the first time I really appreciated it, I think. Like,
So are you a big Star Wars fan? Is that like one of your favorite?
Yeah.
Everybody was. Let's pour a little bit out for that one. Star Wars.
I am an original trilogy and prequel fan, and that's about it. It's 6 movies, and then I don't care.
Dude, I totally hear you on that. I'm gonna ask you though, because I was actually talking about this last week with Bat Dan. Have you ever seen the despecialized edition of A New Hope?
Yes.
You have seen it. Awesome. Awesome. Okay.
Well, yeah, I saw it on VHS. So yeah, I had the VHS growing up.
So I'll be honest, I can't remember as a kid watching the VHS. All I actually ever remember was seeing the DVD, because that's what I had access to back then. But those all had the special edition scenes. But the despecialized edition, I didn't realize that they actually had a version of that on VHS.
They did. They did.
Wow. Okay.
Like you're talking about like before he added the scenes, or are you talking about they took the scenes back out?
So I'm talking about the way the movie was originally presented in theaters in 1977.
1977.
As far as I know, that was the original VHS that I had. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It was the old poster. It wasn't like the special
editions
and all that. Like,
how about this then? Was Emperor Palpatine, was he the original design, or was he the way he looks now?
The original design.
The original,
like a monkey eye or whatever.
Yeah. So I like I said, I had never had the opportunity to see that growing up, and when I got my hands on the despecialized edition Blu-ray project that the fans had done, that was absolutely phenomenal. And I always try to recommend that to people who are fans of Star Wars in case they haven't seen it. So that's kind of why I dropped those
versions, because that's what I grew up with. Like my mom was a massive Star Wars fan, actually. So like she had like she was around when they first came out, obviously. So like she had collected all the original toys and all the stuff. And then she kind of like passed that love on to me. And A New Hope is her favorite movie, like of all time. So yeah, like that love got passed on to me. And yeah, I specifically remember the old school versions, because now when I see them, because I see like clips and stuff on YouTube, I'm like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost, it triggers it in me. Like, yeah, that's the version I grew up with. Yeah. I wasn't all about George Lucas changing things, as much love as I had for him. I think he went a little overboard with that stuff, but I'd still love to have him back now more than anything.
I think we all would.
Yeah. So
Come
yeah,
back, please.
Yeah, please.
Yep. All right. Well, that actually answers question number 2 that I was going to ask, because I was going to say what I'm going to assume that Star Wars was the film that pretty much solidified you wanting to be just like into movies and talking about movies and all that other kind of stuff.
well, to be honest with you, it kind of went in stages for me because as a kid, like of course I watched like kid movie stuff, like Disney movies and stuff like that, like the old Disney movies when they were good. But like I also grew up watching a lot of Schwarzenegger movies, so like that was like a huge part of my because my family was just a huge fan of his. So like we watched.
You're probably talking to one of the biggest Terminator fans ever.
Bro, look, let me tell you something, man. Even the bad ones. Look, it's when you love an IP. You love an IP. I don't know any other way to explain it, man. I know those movies.
So you even like the bad Terminators?
Yeah, I hated number 3, man. But see, I'm the type of person where I'm like you, so I can pull good elements out of a bad movie. Yeah, I can see where parts of it was good. Yeah, I can see the parts were bad. That's what keeps me like, okay, I'm not just gonna abandon it.
But you can appreciate it for what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But after, when it's like, so number 1, 1984 is my all-time favorite sci-fi horror of anything of all time. I love that movie. And my wife just got it for me on 4K. So
nice.
So that's my shit right there. And then I got number 2, and then I got number 4.
Okay.
So I got Salvation.
Right?
Salvation
was awesome. I love that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Are my favorite ones. Number 3, I couldn't get with I couldn't do the talk to the hand stuff in the strip club.
They went a little goofy.
I was just like, no, and then the Terminator growing boobs to confuse the cop so he could get. I was like, nah, man, y'all lost me with that, bro.
Definitely a product of the early 2000s, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, how did you feel about Dark Fate though? Because that broke me. Like Dark Fate broke me. Like,
So I'll tell you what. Out of the 2 worst possible movies in that whole run, which was Dark Fate and Genesis. Yeah, I like Dark Fate better. I hated Genesis.
I guess that's kind of understandable because at least Dark Fate tried to do something like kind of interesting, but like and Genesis was just.
See, I always thought it was a missed opportunity not bringing Christian Bale back and letting him lead the franchise.
I agree.
You know,
he didn't have a great experience though. I don't think making the first one.
I remember the
stories. he was going off. Bro.
As much as I love Christian Bale, I think he's. After Batman, I don't see him. Well, I don't know. He did do Thor for some reason. I don't know why he did that either. But
I thought he was a good John Connor. Really.
He was. Yeah. I remember specifically when I heard that casting announcement. I remember it was me and my dad were talking about it actually, and he was like, "Oh, Christian Bale just got cast as John Connor." I was like, "Are you serious? Like that's perfect." Like it was. I remember hearing that for the first time very vividly. And I did dig the movie. I think it is the 3rd best Terminator movie. It's easily. Yeah, I would say. Yeah. So
wait, could I ask real quick? Did you get the opportunity to see the Netflix anime?
I didn't.
I'm gonna tell you, and Charles will tell you the same thing. You have to watch it. Okay. It is very, very good.
And keep this in mind, Joe. I'm not into cartoons, bro.
Me neither. That's why I haven't watched it. Yeah.
I'm not an anime guy either.
Yeah. I don't do that. But I was like, you know what? It reminded me of the cartoons I used to watch back in the day, like your Ghost in the Machines and your from way back in the 80s. So it kind of had that feel to it. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah.
Barring it's a cartoon. The storyline is actually pretty
really
good.
Really good.
Yeah,
this storyline is where they should have taken live action.
Okay.
If you watch it.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll give it a shot. I'm not a big anime guy, to be honest with you. Yeah. Like, people try to get me into it, and I just never could. But with something like Terminator, there's a little bit extra interest there for me. So yeah, I'll give it a shot. Yeah,
give it a shot.
I thought about that one, and I thought about the Godzilla one because I heard good things about that too on Netflix. Is there a Godzilla on Netflix too?
Is there a?
I haven't. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think there's a Netflix Godzilla anime, but I'm not sure.
I think the last anime I got to actually watch on Netflix was the Tomb Raider. I watched a few episodes of that.
Okay. All right.
But I did watch the entire thing of Terminator. That was phenomenal.
It's not that I'm against animation. It's just I don't know. it just doesn't speak to me in the way that live action does.
You know what the thing is with that, though, in my opinion, is that there are ways that they can tell a story in animation that they can't necessarily do in live action.
That's true.
And I think Terminator, I think it was called Terminator Zero. Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
Terminator Zero. They definitely took advantage of some of that. So,
yeah,
like I said, if you're a Terminator fan, I think.
Now, Rox, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just the media, the form of medium, and that's why they're able to tell a better story in animation?
You know what? We've talked about my opinions on storytelling and the ability. You just have so much more ability to tell better stories through a television show than in just like a 2-hour movie.
Oh, so you mean just in
character development? Because it's because of exactly. You're much more invested in the characters, I think, because of the amount of character development behind getting to see their journey throughout 13 or 22 episodes or whatever it is. When it comes to film, you're very limited. You know what I mean? It's an hour and a half. It's 2 hours. You only have so much time to develop the characters, in my opinion, right? So that's what it is for me, especially with like I said, a franchise with the Terminator, like the Terminator.
Yeah.
You really get to experience. Oh man, how do I want to word this? You really get to experience much better storytelling because it's there's more. That's the best way I could put it. I'm sorry.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of TV shows have thrived with the expanded runtime, just for the reason you said. I also think it has become to a detriment of some TV shows because they try to stretch things out when they shouldn't. Like you know, I've seen that in TV shows also. But I think the reason I'm like more of a movie guy as opposed to like a series guy is because I want the 2-hour experience and then I want to move on.
You want to move? Yeah. A lot of people are like that, bro. I totally get it. I don't want to be committed to something for long stretches of time. I like a series has to be really, really good in order for me to stick with it. Dude, I totally hear you on that. Like, it takes a lot for me to actually invest myself into something. Because, you know, we all got lives. We're busy people, man. Like, you know, it's a lot running a YouTube channel. I got a day job. I got 2 kids. You know what I mean? I got a whole life, right? But your time is very limited. So when you do invest your time into something like a TV show, you want it to be good. Yes. But one of the last shows I watched because we did a review on it on our channel, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing me rave about it, but Superman and Lois, I absolutely fell in love with that show. Yeah, that's another one I will recommend to you.
Okay, all right.
If
a couple people tried to get me to watch that. Yeah, and I
Hulkman, he balanced that Clark Superman, that father man. He balanced that role out.
I binged the entire series just last month. Okay, the whole series, and I am beating myself.
Too, isn't it?
4 seasons, and
that's it.
And I think the first 2 seasons I think were like 13, 14 episodes, and I think the last 2 seasons they were a bit shorter. I think they were like 12 tops. But I binged that entire series, and again, it was one of those things where just you get so much more time with a character like Superman that I absolutely fell in love with this version of the character, his family, this version of Lois, his kids, everything. It was such a great show. And I'm beating myself up for not watching it when it actually came out, you know? Like, I was one of those guys, I was very critical. I don't think this is for me, blah, blah, blah. And now I watch it, it's like, damn, I missed out. Damn.
Well, CW has like a stigma to it, so it's like, you don't really want to take it too seriously, but to be honest, I saw the amount of people who were upset when it got canceled. And it kind of made me like, maybe I should give it a shot. Like
that's exactly what it was for me. Exactly what it was. I saw the outcry, and I'm like, okay, this has to be good. Like, if people are fighting this hard, you know, and supporting this show, like through this cancellation, it's like, damn, I was not let down. And if you're a Superman fan, bro, I can't recommend it enough.
Okay. Yeah, I might get around to that at some point then too. Yeah, because it's something I'm definitely interested in. So
all right. Number 3. Who's your favorite film director, my friend, and why?
Well, I mean, if anybody watches my videos, you probably already know this, but it's Quentin Tarantino is my favorite film director.
I knew he was gonna say it. I was like, watch him. I was like, watch him say Quentin Tarantino.
In my opinion, the only director who's never made a bad movie. That's just my opinion, but he's got a perfect record as far as I'm concerned. He's also the person because
he's a master of deconstruction, especially when it comes
really,
to that type of film.
Yes,
Ooh,
he really is. He really is. And he's also the person that actually I credit with getting me back into movies after I had taken a hiatus from it for quite some time. I think whenever Kill Bill came out, I don't remember. It was around 2000. I want to say 7. I don't know, 6, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but that movie actually got me back into real like filmmaking type stuff, like where I was like, all right, like it pulled me back in because I was like, oh, Quentin's making a movie because he had taken a hiatus too, like during that time. Our hiatuses weren't organized to be like together, but it just so happened that's how it worked out. And Kill Bill actually brought me back in, and then my love of movies kind of like reblossomed from there. And then that's what. And I went back and started watching things that I had missed and stuff like that. Because when you're a teenager, you kind of get other interests and you kind of just you move on to other stuff, and that's kind of what happened. But Quentin, he's just my guy. Like I don't know. I've talked about him extensively. I just love everything about what he does. He's the type of guy who you could tell that he loves movies. You could tell that he loves making movies. I know he gets a lot of crap because he tends to borrow things from people, but I love that about him. I love the fact that he takes from his influences and puts them into his movies and then puts his own spin on them. Like, I think great directors should do that, to be quite honest with you. So it's definitely Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, I would say is my all-time favorite director.
So what would be your favorite film by him? I know you did say Kill Bill, but is that one your favorite?
No, it's actually it's Pulp Fiction is probably my favorite, but a very close second, and people are surprised when I say this.
Right there,
right, exactly. It just had its anniversary actually. Pulp Fiction is easily probably my favorite movie. Period. I don't know if that's one of your questions, but I might have just stepped on that. But Pulp Fiction is probably my favorite movie. Period. But a close second is actually Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I know is a controversial opinion to some, but I love that movie. It's gotten better every single time that I watched it. So
I have to watch that then. I every time I see it, I'm like, I need to watch this movie because
go into it with
you're not the only one. Everybody else says it's good. So
definitely go into it with an open mind, and it's probably not what you expect it to be. But if you actually, take the time and think about what he's doing, I think it's brilliant. I honestly think it's a modern masterpiece, to be quite honest. So that's probably 1A and 1B.
I'm trying to remember if I've seen that one. Who was in that one?
It's DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie are the top.
Okay. I think I did see that like maybe once a while ago. Damn. I'm with Charles. I'm going to have to rewatch that one.
I'd recommend it. Inglourious Bastards is the third.
I love that one.
That's probably third on my list. So
all right.
So that's probably my top 3 right there for Tarantino.
Awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. My fourth question for you, and this is a 2-parter.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to review film? And what do you think the state of film review is? Do you think it's dead? Honest film review.
Yeah. Well, I have a whole series of videos I do on my channel called Film Criticism is Dead. So, and it's not meant to be this broad stroke like statement by me, like everybody is a fraud, even though that's how some people take it. It's not really what I mean. When I say that, I refer to people who are very clearly putting their personal biases and their personal narratives, whatever you want to call it, are influencing their opinion. And you could tell the difference. You could tell when someone's being genuine and when someone's being, not so genuine, when they're going on the attack. Like, that's not criticism to me. Going on the attack is not criticism. You should be breaking down what you see in the movie and not letting outside influences influence your whole view on the movie. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of film criticism is lacking. If you go on Rotten Tomatoes, most of the reviews, not most, I'll say a good portion of them, you can tell that there's a clear bias there, one way or the other, either good or bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I always point people back to the Rebel Moon, or the Rebel Moon video that I did of Film Criticism is Dead. And I didn't even like Rebel Moon. I'll say that right. I didn't like it. But what I saw critics attacking that movie just because it was Zack Snyder, not because of what they were saying in the movie. They're attacking the fans.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to criticize the movie, then criticize the movie. But I saw a lot of people just going after the fandom, going after Zack himself, and it just rubs me the wrong way. And I hate when people do that.
No, I hear you 100. It's about like you got to criticize the story, you criticize the plot, you like legitimate criticism, not this director is a hack and I don't like him.
Yes.
And that's what you tend to get a lot of with Zack Snyder.
You get that from professional critics now. Like
Yes.
you're supposed to be professional,
which makes you question, which makes you beg the question.
Right?
Do you really like movies? Or are you just getting paid to throw your personal spin on stuff? I mean,
a lot of it seems paid, yes. And that kind of leads into my second response to your other question. Why did I start doing this? To be quite honest with you, like, I'm fairly new to YouTube. I think I only started watching YouTube around probably 2016. I haven't been watching it my whole life. I actually started watching it around The Last Jedi. It was kind of that time where I was like, is this movie as bad as I think it is? And I was looking for other people's opinions to see if they matched up with mine. And it was that kind of thing. But throughout the general course of things, the more people I watched, the less it became clear to me who I could trust and who I couldn't trust. It was like, I saw even the people that I started to like, I started to dislike because it was like, I don't know if I could take this person seriously in their word because the things they are saying don't feel like genuine film criticism to me. So basically, the reason I started my own channel is that I just wanted to get back to that. I wanted to do what I wasn't seeing get done on YouTube. Basically, is basically what it came down to, and it does come down to basically two movies that kind of made me kind of want to do this. One was The Last Jedi, and the other was Batman versus Superman for different reasons. I saw people attacking Batman versus Superman for reasons other than what was in the movie. And it was very telling to me, and getting personal about it too. That was another thing that rubbed me the wrong way. And then The Last Jedi for the opposite reason. I saw people praising it and I was like, I don't get it. I've been a long time Star Wars fan and I can't take anything in this movie seriously. Like it doesn't even feel like Star Wars to me. Like, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it was just a combination of things and me just seeing other content creators kind of shilling or hating unnecessarily. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. and that's what happened, basically. Yeah.
So you said it was 2016 when you started watching YouTube. When was it that you started your channel?
Probably 2017. It took a matter of a year for me to be like, let me do this myself.
Yeah.
And I started my channel with 5 other people, and I'm the only one left. So
only the strong survive this game, my friend.
Yeah.
Only the strong survive. It was
originally actually like a podcast format, and there was like 5 of us. But they didn't want to put in the work, basically.
Yeah.
And I knew what I wanted the channel to be, and they couldn't get with that vision, so I just moved on without them. And now I'm by myself, and I'm doing better than I ever have. So
you're doing your thing, man. That's phenomenal, man.
Before we move on to the next question, I want to go ahead and shout out my partner, Costello's Way, aka Sergeant Riggs. He said, shout out to my partners in crime, the audience, and to you, Joe. Sorry I could not make it tonight. Have a great show, guys. We appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Shout out to Costello's Way with the $4.99 super chat. He is going to get a drop right quick. Here we go.
Hashtag simple.
Oops.
Hashtag simple Phil. If you know, you know.
The clip was so good, he wanted to play it again. I like that scene too.
Awesome. All right, let's see here. Speaking of Zack Snyder, of his filmography, what would you consider your favorite film of his, in your opinion, and why?
This is a hard one.
Okay. So Dawn of the Dead, 300,
yeah,
Sucker Punch,
Watchmen, Okay.
Obviously, Man of Steel,
Yeah.
BVS, Justice League.
Yeah.
Where do you land on that?
I prefer
Not a film. Let me rephrase it. What would you consider his most iconic film that says,
Gotcha.
"Yeah, that's
Okay.
Zack Snyder right there"?
Gotcha. Well, I prefer Zack Snyder when he has a foundation to build from. I'm not as big of a fan of his original movies, actually, which is strange for me to say because I prefer originality in my movies. But for whatever reason, I like when Zack has a foundation and he's able to build from it, like he did with DC, like he did with 300. Like he has the source material and then he makes it his own kind of thing. Like I like that about him. That's where I think he's in his sweet spot. Like, you know what I mean? Where he can focus on directing more so than coming up with the story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, not that I think he's a bad storyteller. I just think he's more of a visual storyteller than he is words on the page. So I prefer I prefer that side of him. And I would say for me, it's probably Watchmen. Honestly,
That's what I knew you were. I knew you were going to say Watchmen. Yeah.
And the reason for that, actually, it's a funny story. First time I watched Watchmen, I didn't even like it, but I watched it a couple of times after that, and I was like, "What the hell was I thinking?" Like, the more I watched that movie, the deeper it got, and I was just like, the better it got, and I was like, "This is like a masterpiece. Like, this is like the deconstruction of the superhero done the right way. This is like that's what everybody wants to do. They want to deconstruct everything, right? But Zach actually did it before it was cool, and it was like, and he did it the best, honestly. Like, and I actually, this might be controversial. I actually think he made the comic better. Like, and I know the Watchmen is a very popular comic, and people have a lot of love for it, but like the minor changes he made to it, I liked all of it. I just think it's a phenomenal movie, and it doesn't get nearly enough credit that it deserves. And I would have to say it was Watchmen. Yeah, definitely.
Did you find that Watchmen was before its time? Like, do you think it would have done better if it came out, let's say, maybe like more like 5-10 years ago tops? You know what I mean?
It's possible, I suppose. It definitely couldn't come out now because I feel like people just want goofy stuff now. It seems like Watchmen's way too serious for now for current times. But I think it was the appropriate time. I think that it's just one of those movies again that people are just going to have to learn to appreciate over time. Like I think it was kind of like my situation. It was like at first I didn't quite get it. But the more I was like, maybe there is something with this movie, and I kept watching it, and I think it's just one of those movies you have to absorb over time. It's not a one-sitting thing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
See, I find that's actually a lot with Zack Snyder stuff in general.
Yes, it is. It is. Absolutely.
Like, my appreciation grows for his films the more I watch them. When I get those repeat viewings in, and then I start to go deep, it's like, wow, there's so much lore here. Yeah. There's so much that you could catch on repeat viewings that you didn't necessarily catch the first time or the second time or the third time. For me, that was BVS. At first, I'll be on, and I've been honest with our audience about this. I wasn't the biggest BVS fan at first, but the more I continued to watch it, it's just like the more I appreciated it, the more I found more and more to it. So I find that's a theme with Zack Snyder, and I find his films, in my opinion, age like wine. They just get better as time goes on.
Well, I think Zack very clearly cares about what he's doing. I know a lot of people say he's just like this edgelord guy who just does things to get a rise out of people. I don't believe that about him at all. I think he genuinely cares about every project that whether I like it or not, he genuinely cares about, Rebel Moon and all these things, like, and I see that, and I want him to succeed. Like, it's not just because I didn't like the movie, I'm not like wishing for it to fail or anything. Like, I'm glad it succeeds, but like, because I know Zach puts the time into it. He puts the effort into it. That's what I want from a filmmaker. You know what I mean? A storyteller. Like, I see way too many movies where it's like, this feels like it was thrown together in a weekend. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like that. And I never get that impression with Zach. Like, never. Like, the visuals alone almost always look like they're straight out of a book. Like, like just a beautiful visuals. That's the one thing that he will thrive at in every single movie.
He's an amazing visual storyteller.
Yeah, you can say what you want to say to him about his stories and stuff or whatever, his dialogue, any of that stuff. you can't take anything away from him visually, and anyone who does is full of it. Like,
I don't
and that's the argument, I've always had. Of course, he's a visual storyteller. Number one, the man is an artist,
right?
Dude, the camera came second. Homie went to school for art. He went to school for the brush.
You could tell.
That was his deal. Exactly. Yeah. So he was telling a story about how, and then suddenly I saw all of these guys, making movies and direct. And he said, suddenly I just got this feeling like, wow, I would like to direct a movie. I would like to throw my passion into that, and he did. So so of course, he's and what I try to remind people of is believe it or not, dialogue is important. Dialogue to me is what they call an anchor to whatever the next action sequence or plot device that's going to come up, so that it anchors them together. Basically, what their intentions are, what they're about to do. You're going to see it in the next scene. It anchors everything together. But remember, cinema started off when the aspect of cinema started off visually. So if you can,
that's what I was saying, is the silent era. Yep.
So he's excellent when it comes to that visual medium of telling a story. He can shoot a movie without any dialogue whatsoever, and you would know what's going on.
He could.
You understand what I'm saying? What's his name? Denis Villeneuve. 2049. He said the same thing. He was like, I can shoot him. I'd love to shoot a movie with no dialogue. And I'm interested to find out exactly how that would turn out. I mean,
I don't think there's another director out there who could actually bring a comic panel to the screen like the way Zack does. Like I could open up my Dark Knight. I'm sorry, I can open up my Dark Knight, my Absolute Dark Knight book, right? And I could find you panels and take Zack's BVS, and I could match it up for you perfectly.
Absolutely,
and it's 100%. And I don't think there's ever been a director to take that almost one-to-one adaptation of a comic panel and bring it to the screen like that.
And and that's exactly why I never understood the argument that he doesn't like the material or he doesn't understand the material. I'm like, to me, he understands it almost better than anyone. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's very strange. Like, even if I have issues with some of his movies, the issues that people bring up about his DC movies never made sense to me. And it was like, again, it was one of the reasons that pushed me to start my own channel, because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, where are you getting this from? Is this like something you're just kind of pulling out of thin air because you want to hate this guy or what? Like, I've heard so many things about him where he's like, where they say these things about him, and I'm just like, it feels like they're just pulling things out of thin air. And it's like, like when I watch BVS, I'll admit at first I didn't say I didn't like it, but I was kind of like not sure about it, I guess I would say. But the more I watched it, the more I ended up liking it. And then the extended cut came out and I really liked it. So it's like, but like I'm watching that movie, and then I remember this very vividly too. I saved this story for when I came on here because I knew you guys would appreciate it. But I remember this very vividly. I remember the day before BVS came out, I was standing at work talking to someone else about it. We were both very, excited for it or whatever. We were on our phones and we were looking up, and we saw these news stories, and it said BVS is a game changer. Like BVS is like all these news stories were like hyping up BVS. People had already seen it. They were reacting to it positively. It was like, so we're like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. Like, you know what I'm saying? So almost, I would say not even a week after the movie came out, suddenly the narrative like completely switched, like out of nowhere. It was like, I guess a few people had some gripes with it, and then the media was like, oh, let's just run with that instead. I don't really know what happened, but like the narrative almost I wish I could find those articles, because I swear to you they existed.
Almost like on a dime.
On
a dime, bro.
I was on a dime. I was like, how did this happen? Like, did I miss something? Like, because this was the time at the height of the MCU, if you remember. And I was already checked out of the MCU by then. I was looking for alternatives already by that point. So I looked at Zack Snyder as a healthy alternative to what I was getting in the MCU. But for whatever reason, people were bashing Zack Snyder stuff for the things that I didn't like about the MCU at the time. It was like not being faithful to the comics. This kind of, like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like
almost like a deliberate narrative was making its way through the media.
It was
Through
like
the
a
entertainment
hit job. It
Yeah.
really did. It was like all these hit pieces started to come out, and I was like, it really rubbed me the wrong way because I was like, I don't understand where any of this is coming from. Like, I was genuinely confused by it, like baffled, like
Mhm.
how the narrative switched almost overnight. And that was the one thing that was another one of those things that just kind of made me start looking into things a little bit more for myself and like getting past all the noise. You like, you know what I'm saying? Ignoring the noise and kind of like watching these movies for myself, because to this day, I just watched BVS probably a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
To this day, I still don't understand half the criticism that movie get. I don't. And you know me, I'm highly critical. Like I'm highly critical of movies. That's what I do for a living in this space.
It's almost like, look, bro.
I'm not even saying it's perfect, but I don't understand where the criticisms come from. I don't. I really don't.
Superman, for the first time as a character, is having the world built around his ideals, versus his ideals shining throughout the world.
Yes,
we're gonna take the world and say, okay, you're about truth, justice, the American way. You help old ladies cross the street. You save cats from trees. You do all of this stuff.
Right.
I'm gonna drop those character traits in the middle of this world that is a complete nightmare and see how you fare.
Exactly.
That's literally all the man did.
Yeah.
Let's take him out of the same old saving cats from trees, up and away. Yeah. Good to see you, Lois, and the hands on the hips and the just give me a story that revolves around his powers, his struggles as a human being. I want to see that. I want him out of that two-dimensional box that they like to keep those character traits in. Let those things be tested. Otherwise, it's not storytelling to me. It's just not.
Yeah. No.
How many ways can you tell the same Lois and Superman and Goofy Superman and Daily Planet and Otis, and how many times can you tell that story?
Yeah.
Honestly.
That was what Zack and Nolan and all these people set out to do. Like, they wanted to do just exactly what you talked about. Like, give Superman the flaws that we've never really seen him have on screen before. More emotional flaws, because he's indestructible, right? He's indestructible. You know, that's always been the knock against him. Like, how do you get invested in a character that's basically indestructible and you can't be hurt, right? So they took that concept and were like, all right, well, we'll approach it in this way, on a more emotional level, on a more philosophical level. And people just didn't get it. That's really all it was. Like, people were just like, oh, he's just dark and moody. Like, they tried to turn Superman into Batman. I'm like, no, that's not what's going on. That's not even
it wasn't even close. Not even close.
Like, this isn't edgy. This is making you actually think. And I think some people don't want to think when they watch movies sometimes. They just want to, and I get it. There's movies where you just want
to just turn your brain off.
There are those movies, because like I was telling Ross when we were talking backstage about it again, I'm not when it comes to buffoonery, the genre of the comedy genre, it's on the bottom of rung of my list of movies that I like. But I do like buffoonery. I like the films that know they're buffoonery, they're stupid as hell. We're gonna write this stupid shit, a la Scary Movie.
We were just talking
that. I love that movie, dude, because it's so stupid, and you're like, of course it's this. Yeah, that's why it's funny as hell. Yeah, but and it's they don't understand that type of buffoonery is a little bit different when you're trying to turn an entire IP that was designed to set itself apart from Marvel. It's in the name. Think about it. Detective Comics.
Yes.
To me, that says investigations, murder, crime, all kind of serious shit, right?
Detective
and then
shit.
You got detecting shit. And then you got
Marvelous. You know
there
what I mean?
You go. It's in the
Fantastic.
Name, literally. Why are you trying to change DC into Marvel?
Yes, completely two different entities. And I don't understand how people don't understand that, because it's like, I even growing up as a kid, I noticed the vast difference between DC and I love them both. Like, don't get me wrong, like, but they are not the same entity at all. They should not be treated the same way. I wouldn't say it's even a completely different audience because I do think the audiences cross over, but like I think when you're going into a DC film as opposed to when you're going into a Marvel film, you should be looking for two different things. It should not feel like a carbon copy of the other.
Yes.
Like, and that's the problem that we could potentially have with the new DCU is that it feels like that's what they want to do. Now, we don't know that for sure until we actually see something of, of substance, which we haven't yet. But like, that's what it kind of feels like because it's like, what else would WB do? They tried it the way that we preferred it, got cold feet and decided to go in a different direction. Then they didn't like that direction either, decided to go in another direction. So what's the natural progression of things tell you? They just brought him in and they were like, hey, James Gunn, can you do a little bit of what you did with Marvel over here and give us some of that success? And it's not even a knock against James Gunn necessarily. It's just they're bringing him over to do what he does. Like, that's what it kind of feels
there's
like.
nothing, there's nothing extraordinary about him. There's nothing over the top about. He's just a movie director.
Right.
That's it. He is just a movie director who knows how to do buffoonery and
he knows how to follow the corporate formula that they want. That's exactly what it is.
Right there. That's exactly why he is in that seat. But I'm like, it's Detective Comics, man. I mean, what guys? I mean, I can almost see your argument about Superman and not changing the core identity of Superman, but you're not really doing that if you're not changing those things. In other words, you're not changing Superman from hopeful to despair. Man of Steel was just a guy. He was a kid growing up like a human being. You have to see through those eyes. You're a kid that gets bullied at school. You're a kid that goes through that shit. When he was going through puberty, his powers came through his puberty. Okay. That's the type of stuff that I want to see. I don't want to. I've seen, bro.
We've seen it the other way. Yes, we've seen it the other way,
man. It just.
It's just people. There are a lot of traditionalists, I think, in the and I get it. Like, I get upset sometimes when things aren't comic book accurate. Like, I get it. I totally understand that.
But see, that's what I think the issue is with, like, and I think you're hitting it right on the head. Is that like, especially when it comes to Zack Snyder, it's if you're going to criticize BVS or if you're going to criticize anything that he did with DC, it's like you have to take it and you have to actually criticize with merit. You can't just criticize and say, oh, I don't like this because it was Zack Snyder. There are things about BVS and ZSJL that I don't like, that I can criticize. But it's valid criticism. You know what I mean? Like, and I've said it before, one of the things I don't like is I don't like how BVS turned into The Death and Return of Superman. How I don't like that.
It was a little rushed.
It was, in my opinion, that was rushed. In my opinion, the death of Superman should have been a movie in itself. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I think the issue that a lot of comic book fans have with that is that they took the route of doing the Death and Return of Superman prior to Justice League. Where in the comics, you already have an established Justice League around Superman when he dies. You know what I mean? So that's a valid criticism. You guys want to talk about a valid criticism? There you go. In my opinion, what they could have done, is they could have waited till after the Justice League was established to bring in Doomsday and to kill off Superman. You know what I mean? That could have been the whole Justice League 2 story, and then you could have done, that again, a valid criticism.
Zach didn't want to do that. That was them.
I know, and it was WB. WB, I totally understand that. I get it 100%. But I'm just saying, like, if you want to
losing, catch up with Marvel.
But you know what? I'm just saying, like, if you're going to criticize, let's actually criticize. Let's not just say I don't like this director. He's a hack, and that's that. You know what I mean? Come at it with points.
I think considering under the circumstances he was in, where he was forced to do things that he didn't necessarily want to do at that time, I think that even speaks more to his abilities as a director
to adapt.
To be able to adapt to that, because we all know how difficult it is to work for WB. I mean. There's a reason why Christopher Nolan and these people don't want to deal with them no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's because they aren't very director friendly.
It's like gun fans especially are not paying. I'm like, guys, read the writing on the wall. $9.60 for stocks.
Right.
$9. That shows you what your worth is, bro. Look at that number. $9.60. That shows you that the investors don't trust you. And you're all over this new DC universe like it's going to be the savior. And I'm like,
no,
it's not.
Listen, I've been wrong before. Maybe Superman will strike a chord with people and people will go see it and it'll be a big hit. I don't know. None of us really know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
All I do know is I've been covering movies a lot, obviously, for the past few years. And almost every time there seems to be like this online manufactured hype. It almost never translates to real life.
Yep.
Almost
Yep.
always.
Almost
Like
never.
I could give you countless movies where it's been like, oh, this movie's going to be this mega hit. It's got all these, these
I
people
could give
behind
you 5 or 6.
it. Yeah, right.
In the last
And-
few years.
And then it comes out and nobody watches it. So it's like I just find it very hard to believe that we can measure anything based on social media, first of all, because I just don't think that that's as representative of real life as people think it is.
No, and you know it's funny because we've highlighted that exact point on this show before.
Yeah.
People seem to think that the view count, that if because a YouTube video or a trailer got so many views, that's going to translate in the theaters. And we ran the numbers on we one of the things we did on one of our last episodes is we took the Superman trailer from as many sources as we could find. So like YouTube, Guns Page, WB, blah 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 blah. Right? We took all of those numbers. And then we took the actual numbers of the people who actually took the time to click like, because the way we look at it is if you're actually going to take the time to like this video, that tells us you're invested in this and you're actually going to go see this movie. When we did the views to engagement ratio, it was like 2%, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2% of the audience that watched they keep bragging about the millions and millions of views they got. 2% of that audience actually engaged and clicked like on that video.
Wow. Yeah, that's not good. It doesn't sound good.
No.
It doesn't sound good. Not as good as they want to portray it. I mean, it's just it's crazy to me because I always go back to Avatar because that's my go-to example every time anybody brings this up, because if you look at the view counts on Avatar trailers, they ain't even a fraction of what Superman did.
Yeah.
And those movies almost always go on to make $2 billion.
Yes.
So what you can deduce from that is that all the people on social media who came to me, I remember this vividly too, prior to Avatar 2 coming out, you don't know how many people told me Avatar has no cultural relevance. Who's going to watch this movie? Nobody cares. That's all I got from people.
Dude, I was one of those people. I thought like that too. I'll own it, bro. Because Avatar wasn't my thing. I didn't understand it, right? I'm just like, who the hell's going to go see this? $2 billion later.
$2 billion. Like, first of all, James Cameron's a machine. Second of all, like, it's very, very, you could draw a lot of conclusions to the fact that movies like that strike a chord with the general audience when people on social media tell you that they mean nothing. And it goes the other way around too. Like, the general audience is way different than social media. And I think we have a lot of examples.
Yes.
I think we have a lot of examples of that. Now, I'm not saying that Superman won't strike a chord with the general audience because I don't really know. I mean, he is a popular character. And maybe people, I don't get the feeling in my everyday life though that people are clamoring for a Superman movie right now. That's just the feeling I get.
Charles, go back to that last comment. I want to ask you, what do you think about that, Joe? Would you take a Dark Knight Returns movie with Ben Affleck and Chris Terrio and
absolutely?
Is that something that you would be interested in?
Absolutely. I've said this for a while that like Zack has pretty much moved on, so I say let him move on, do what he wants to do, whatever. But if he ever were to come back into the fold, I really only need, I'd say 4 movies from his universe, and just as a kind of send off, finish the story and move on. One would be a Ben Affleck Batman movie, possibly Dark Knight Returns, that could work. One would be Man of Steel 2, and then Justice League 2 and 3. Like, those 4 movies is all you really need as far as I'm concerned.
See, for me, there were so many elements of the Dark Knight Returns that he already borrowed and used in BVS. I'm really curious how he would pull it off.
He did. It would feel like a bit of a rehash. He would probably have to retool some things and rework some things and, put his own spin on it, I guess, because he did. He was very clearly influenced by that. So maybe a Dark Knight Returns wouldn't be the best option. I would just want to see whatever it is that Affleck and
what they could cook up. Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
They had something cooking and it just didn't materialize for whatever reason. But like, I would honestly, because Affleck's a great filmmaker too. Like,
he's a great Batman. Like
yeah,
that's
and a
like
great
in my
Batman.
opinion,
Yeah.
he is the best Batman. He is the
best
definitive
comic book
Batman.
accurate Batman ever. I don't care who your favorite. You like your favorites, you like your
Yeah.
favorites. But let me tell you something. When this Affleck dude came out and I found out, you know, after seeing Armageddon and all that other stuff, his previous work, I was like, nah, baby girl. I don't. If it's gonna be like Reindeer Games, like he was in with Charlize Theron, I'm not even trying to hear all that.
Yeah,
Homie pulled off that Bruce Wayne Batman persona.
Why did we have an issue with Reindeer Games, bro? I mean, I loved that scene with Charlize. That was an awesome movie. I watched that every freaking Christmas, bro.
Wake up and brush your teeth to it, huh?
I mean, listen, I remember being upset when Affleck was announced as Batman. I was like, what?
I do too.
Like,
I was
why?
like, what?
Like, didn't he already fail at Daredevil? Why are we giving him Batman? Like, that was my initial thought. But of course, I ended up being wrong. And that's another thing too. It's like, and we did the same thing with Heath Ledger as Joker, right? It's like my initial gut reaction is why that guy, but when you have someone like Nolan or even Zack Snyder or whoever, a visionary filmmaker who has a vision of their own and they have their own interpretation of the character, in most instances, it's a good idea to trust them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we were all wrong about Heath Ledger. We were all wrong about Ben Affleck. And I could go through other examples of that as well. Now, I know we make a lot of noise sometimes about the current DCU and some of their casting decisions, but to me, it's a very different situation because it feels like those casting decisions are being made based on, Twitter polls or whatever.
Yes.
So it's like,
especially today.
Is it really about the vision, or are you just desperately seeking validation from online, from people on social media, X or Instagram or whatever?
100.
And that's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like there's a vision attached. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like when Sam Raimi made Spider-Man. He took certain liberties with that movie. Like, it's not exactly 100% comic accurate to Spider-Man, but you know what? It's a really, really,
it's a
really
great
good movie.
Yes.
So it's like,
like,
you know what I'm saying? It's like you have to let directors give a fresh interpretation of these characters. I think that's
and speaking of Spider-Man, this is what I didn't like about Raimi Spider-Man. All three of them. It had one thing that was the same throughout the entire movie.
Is it Mary Jane?
Him and Mary Jane.
I agree, bro. I totally get it. I get it.
Not a big fan of Kirsten Dunst. Yeah.
Breaking up, get back together. Breaking up.
She was the damsel in distress in all three movies.
Oh, that's all she was.
I was just like, yeah. I didn't.
But real quick, guys, before we jump topics here, I did see that we didn't get a chance to highlight this, but we got another super chat from Demi Ray Era. Charles, did you see that one? No. It's here. She threw us $9.99, so I want to highlight her comment.
Oh, Rhea, yes, thank you so much. Let me find that comment. Hold up. Dude. See, this is why I wish you had control.
It's all good. Next time, bro. Next time, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna fix this.
Control of
hold up. So there was. Hold up. I just saw Costello's because hers was after Phil, right?
Yeah.
All right, hold up.
It's near the bottom.
No, that's Phil's.
So Hold My DualShock posted above her, and then Devoclin posted below her.
Why don't they have a tab just for
that? They have. Charles, do you see the starred tab?
I
you see how it says live and then it says starred? If you click on the star.
Okay, there's Hold My DualShock right there.
And then he said, "Hey," at Osafresh. He was shouting
out
Osafresh. Yeah, and then right below it. There you go.
All right, here she go. All right, this is Damie Rhea. Thank you so much for the $9 super chat. It says, "I've said this countless times. Zach Nolan Burton brought this brand to new heights. Gunn will set DC back for decades. Gunn isn't good for the brand at all. At all." Well, and that's the argument that I want to get into right quick. But I'm gonna go ahead and give her a drop right quick. And thank you so much again, Red, for that that $9.99 super chat.
Yes, thank you so much.
Just a second, I'm gonna find her a drop. Give me a moment. I'm gonna give her a funny one. Here we go.
This is Last Horseman. Who is this? This is flaming vodka!
Okay, flaming dragon, fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia, Jack, is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. You're gonna have to call the fucking United Nations and get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker! I will massacre you! I will fuck you up!
You know, the first time I saw that, I didn't even know that was Tom Cruise.
I didn't know to the credits. The credits rolled. Yeah, that's what. Same. Yeah, I never put it together. I remember seeing that movie in the theater. I laughed my ass off the entire time.
Yeah.
It's such an iconic
Bro.
movie. They don't make them like that
Man,
anymore.
we
had this exact conversation because I was telling Charles, last night I got to bed late, but I had to watch something. I need to unwind. You know what I mean? So I was scrolling through Netflix and I saw Scary Movie 2 and I threw on Scary Movie 2 and I'm laughing my ass off and I'm just like, man, they do not make comedies like this anymore.
Comedy is like a dead genre, and it's kind of sad. And I think it has a lot to do with how PC people tend to be these days. It's like you can't really have fun anymore. But like that last era with like Tropic Thunder, even the first Hangover, I'd say, Super Bad, like around that area, like when they could still be a little on the edgier side without getting all in their feelings, like that was just like prime time right in there. And we just don't get. I don't even remember the last time I reviewed a comedy movie. To be honest with you, I don't think they even come out theatrically anymore. I think they
go right to Netflix.
Yeah. Like it's kind of sad because I think we could use a little bit of laughter.
I'm really looking forward to Happy Gilmore 2. I am really looking forward to that one. Yeah, so hopefully it lives up to the expectation.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Adam Sandler hasn't been great lately.
It's Happy Gilmore though. Come on.
But we'll see. I don't know.
All right. Hey, we got another one here from
Hold My DualShock. Great conversation, you guys.
Guys, a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Let me get a drop for you as well.
What you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Man, you guys are just hitting all my favorites tonight. I'm liking this right now. You're just hitting all my favorites tonight.
Thank you so much again. Hold My DualShock for the $5 super chat. We really appreciate that. If you guys are still rolling in, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right.
Guns toilet humor doesn't count as comedy.
No, not at all.
That does not count as comedy.
Nah.
All right. Charles, is there anything else we want to?
I got just one more question,
okay.
And that is, what are you looking forward to seeing in the future as far as film goes, man, in the next couple of years?
I'm definitely looking forward to the finale of the Mission Impossible franchise because it's one of my favorite franchises. I think it's probably one of the most consistent franchises we have at this point. Never really had a bad movie. I'd say the second was probably the worst, but
here is there's
still some redeemable qualities.
But I kind of like that stylized stuff from John Woo, man. I did. Yeah.
I watched it the other day, and it's very cheesy. And it doesn't really fit when you compare it to the other ones. But like there's something about it. It's very early 2000s, so it's it's whatever. But I'm definitely looking forward to Mission Impossible. I'm looking forward to Avatar 3. I know that's kind of not everybody's thing, but if James Cameron is directing, I'm going to be there. That's pretty much my philosophy on things. I think the guy just knows how to tell stories, in my opinion, even when it's all visual, like we were talking about earlier, which Avatar kind of is, but it's like an event for me. And
it's like a spectacle. You know what I mean? It's like an event film.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Outside of that, I mean, I'm looking forward, of course, to Tarantino's 10th movie, but I don't know when that's going to actually happen. It keeps getting pushed back. It's supposed to be his 10th and final movie, actually. It was supposed to come out either this year or next year, but he canceled it and he's going to do something else now. So I don't know. So that's something that I definitely want to happen pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I have I'm cautiously optimistic about Scream 7.
Okay.
Only because Nev Campbell's returning and she is Scream to me. I just want to see her have a proper finale to her story.
To her character.
Yeah. I feel like she just kind of got pushed to the side and that rubbed me the wrong way too. I mean, she is Scream to me and I just kind of want to see her get that moment. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, listen, if anybody, there's a certain set of directors that I think if they're on the marquee, I'm showing up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I heard Spielberg's about to do a new UFO movie. I'm definitely there for that.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, they're filming somewhat near me, and I'm going to try to actually go there if I can, because it'd be awesome just to kind of be in the area when they're filming, see if I can, see anything. They're looking for extras too. I might actually try to sign up for that too. But
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, they're filming fairly close to me, that new movie, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, certain directors, Spielberg, Scorsese, of course. If they make a movie, I'm going to be there. But yeah, there's a few things I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
Okay. And what
I don't
about
have to get my hopes up too much anymore because that's when I tend to get
Yes.
So
remember when you used to be excited to go to the movies? You're like, yeah. Now you're like, oh.
Well, honestly, being this way, it has allowed me to actually get pleasantly surprised by things from time to time now. So like when I go in with no expectations, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'd like to. I want to see the Dune the third Dune movie, of course.
Gotcha.
Because I'm definitely into those as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I try not to get my hopes up too much anymore. It seems like every time I start to look forward to a movie, it lets me down. So
okay.
I prefer my expectations sometimes.
So real quick, what about your YouTube channel? What are your plans for 2025 with your YouTube channel?
I mean, other than continue what I'm doing, obviously, I did float out the idea this week about possibly doing something along the lines more of a podcast. Like it would be like a live stream like this, similar, but I kind of envision it as like almost like a Joe Rogan type podcast, but with like me and one other person, and maybe I don't even necessarily agree with that person, more of a debate or not even a debate, but like a conversation.
Yep.
Probably the better way to describe it. I'll probably keep it still based around movies. I do have a little bit of desire to talk about other things, but I don't know if I want to do that on my channel. So that's a little bit a sketchy area for me, but I'm definitely thinking about going into doing a podcast. I mean, ultimately, my ultimate goal one day is to actually make a movie of my own. It's just a matter of kind of accumulating an audience, maybe start doing like a Kickstarter type thing at some point. That's definitely in the plans. That's a little bit more down the line, I think. But yeah, I have a ton of movie ideas, and I feel like I should do something with some of them. So it's like,
no, that's awesome, man. That's
I've always been a very creative person. Like I've always, I used to draw a lot and do stuff like that. Create.
Same here.
So it's like YouTube
Yep.
is definitely an extension of that. But I would like to even get even more creative and like actually start putting my own ideas out there. So that's probably where I see my channel going.
Well, if you're looking for a script writer, this guy right here.
Oh, really? Okay.
This guy right here.
Definitely. Okay. Nice. All right. I'll keep you in mind.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I am. Yeah, dude. I got like three or four stories down the pipeline right now that I'm finishing up on my own. So a couple of them are books. A couple of them are scripts right now. But yeah, man, I'm working on a Terminator trilogy.
Oh, okay. All right, nice.
Yep.
All right.
So I've gotten the story beats pretty much written out for all three of them. So I just gotta find time to sit down and get everything written up. So I'm working on that.
You're gonna resurrect the franchise, right?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see what I can do. Yeah, see what I can do. But
get you in the room with James Cameron and hook you guys up. You know what I mean? I like that. Let's do it. We need a fresh perspective. I like that. Yeah.
Yep. So cool. I'm finally jumping into it, man. And it's been something that that I really actually didn't know I was passionate about until I got older. And I was just, I really like this stuff, man. I like storytelling. I like the idea of creativity. So yeah, I decided to start writing and here we are.
I saw someone said that I should do. I actually did do a couple of short films already. One of them is not anywhere online, I don't think. One of them is on my channel. It's more of a skit that kind of turned into a short story, sort of, kind of.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I probably would start with short films. Like that's probably where I'd start, just to kind of wet my feet a little bit. You know, I'm working with limited resources here, so I don't have, you know, Disney money or anything like that. So like, yeah, I'm gonna have to do what I got to do. But yeah, I'm the same as you. I've always been a storyteller at heart. That's why I value story so much when I'm like reviewing movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like my whole thing with movies is just show me something I never seen before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm tired of seeing the same old thing.
Same things over and over.
You know what I mean? Like when a movie shows me something that I've never seen before, it's almost instantly going to have a better, like, make a better impression on me.
Yes.
And that happened to me a few times over the past couple of years. If you watch some of my like year-end videos, and I talk about the movies that actually left an impact on me. I was thinking about them long after I seen them. That's what I want from an experience. Like,
Thanks. That
Yeah.
is what I want. I don't want to walk out of the theater 5 minutes later after the buffoonery. Like, so you want to go get a burger?
Right.
I mean,
like,
you know what I mean?
I hate to use it as an example because I know everybody loved it, but Deadpool and Wolverine, while it may be fun, it left no impression on me at all. Like I watched it, I was like, okay, and then I moved on to something else. Like,
real talk, I can feel it because I happen to like the film.
Yeah,
but he's right. If you think about the nostalgia bait that they played upon, that's why that movie got over. That's why that movie made that money. It's the truth.
I picked it up. I picked it up on 4K.
Okay.
I threw it in my PlayStation. I went to watch it because I saw it in theaters, right? I went to watch it, and I think within the first half hour, I fell asleep.
Yeah. I understand what they were doing.
And I loved it when I saw it in theaters. I loved it. It's just, it's not something that I can repeat view. It's not... I'm with Charles on this. I like movies that make you think, that you can watch and you're thinking about for days upon days later. So much so you want to come on a podcast and have a discussion with your
homies and just talk about it, man. Just hash it out, break down the scenes, talk about the dialogue, all of that. That's the type of impression that I want left on me.
Like you can't come up with film theories about Deadpool and Wolverine.
No,
like it's all right there. It's like there's nothing to theorize. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it might be fun.
We could theorize the future of the franchise and where it might go, but
that's like most MCU movies to me. It's why I've never really been an MCU guy outside of like phase one, is because it's a one-time viewing thing and then I move on. I never have a desire to watch any of them again. And I haven't. Even the big ones like Infinity War, I've never watched them again. I watched it one time and then I moved on. And
he was like,
and I might even enjoy it too. Like I might even enjoy it, be like, oh, that was fun, you know, cool, whatever. But then I never watch it again. Like, and that to me is just like, it's the one thing that I value most is like, will I ever watch this movie again? When
exactly, to use a phrase Snyder uses, man. You want to be able to walk out of that movie and deconstruct that movie.
Yes.
That's what you want to do.
To think about. Yes, like give me something to think about. Like, and a lot of movies don't do that anymore. Unfortunately, it's very shallow, very, you know, one-dimensional,
spoon-fed. Everything's very spoon-fed,
and it's just it's not appealing to me. Like, and everybody always call, oh, you're just a hater, or you know, whatever. But you know what I mean. But it's my personal preference. I'm not saying everybody has to agree with me.
But it's true though. It's true though. Like, let's go back to like 1999. Think about the first time you saw The Matrix. Think about the impression that movie made on you. You know what I mean? We don't get that today.
Right. The Matrix is like literally the last movie that I can think of that had an impact to the degree that they were actually able to turn it into a franchise. Now you can have conversations about the sequels, but like original movie that turned into a franchise, that literally doesn't happen anymore for the most part. It's like all based on pre-existing stuff now. Like, you know what I mean? Now, of course, The Matrix took its influence from things, but like for the most part, The Matrix was an original concept that turned into its own thing, and
because it wasn't afraid to pioneer something new, right? Like even in the shots that you get from The Matrix, what was it? The whole bullet time effect. That was a completely new concept at the time that nobody had ever heard of or seen before, and it was so well done that they even incorporated that shit into video games all throughout the early 2000s, bro. Max Payne, exactly, right? Like,
you know,
that all has The Matrix to thank for that. You know,
left an impression. Visual spectacle, man, other than the visual spectacle, which was obviously top notch,
Yeah.
they told that story between the war of the machines and humans so well that you could have ended that film right where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Listen, I'm one of those people that actually find value in the sequels. I know some people don't, but like I actually there's things in those
I
movies
do
that I
too.
genuinely
Yeah.
enjoy. Like I
Yeah.
think they get a bad rap in a lot of ways. Like I think there are some deep philosophical ideas contained within those movies that do make you think about it a little bit. Maybe some things are a little too on the nose as well, you know, like the Jesus allegories and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But you know, it's still, it had something to offer though.
No,
Like,
I
really
totally enjoyed the original trilogy. I've only seen the new one. Was it Resurrections? I've only seen that one once.
That movie hurt me.
A lot of people have that opinion. I'm actually planning on giving it a repeat viewing soon. And I'm hoping that maybe if I watch it a second time, and now that my expectations are a bit lower, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll enjoy it a bit
So
more.
excited for that movie. I thought the trailer was great, first of all. Like the trailer blew me away for that. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna take this in a whole new direction. This is gonna be it's gonna be like this mind fuck of a movie, right? Like that's what I'm thinking about going in. That was the most basic, nothing, non-Matrix like thing that I'd ever seen in my life when I went to go watch. I was so disappointed. I was like, what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't even bother came back for this. Like, it was.
I almost wonder why Keanu did come back for it.
A paycheck. A paycheck. Listen, I love Keanu just like everybody else, but like he went for a paycheck. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't even really Neo in the movie. I think he did like one little like force push and that was it.
Yeah, it wasn't like till the very end. Yeah,
there was like nothing. Like it was just such a nothing movie. Like
hey, Rhea, sound off in the chat. That was the super chat we read earlier, right? That you were asking about.
Demi Ray.
Yeah, she wanted me to answer something. I saw that.
Yeah.
that
Okay.
comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Hey,
Charles,
what was your question? I'll answer it. Yeah.
Charles, can you ask Real Shift what he thought about my take on the brand?
What was her take on the brand?
What was her take on the brand? Real, that's why I'm not excited for Superman. I don't need a Superman film with 30 characters. Now with Supergirl.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like they called BVS rushed, and then now.
Oh, here we go.
And now we're. Oh, okay,
this one right here. Yeah, this one right here. So I said countless times, Zach Nolan Burton obviously brought this brand to new heights. Gunn will set the back for decades. Now, that is a distinct possibility that we're briefly going to go over as far as numbers and stuff go. But the writing is literally on the wall. There was an article that came out that I wanted to highlight. But it basically said, this is it. This is their moment. If they fail, the whoever wrote that article said a lot of people are going to be in trouble. That's at DC. That's all they said. If this doesn't, they want this film to do $1 billion, but it already came out, and I can't remember who released it, but it was one of them little small outlets. I don't think it was Variety, but a couple days ago they said Superman poised box office run is going to be 600 to 700 million.
600 to 700. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Yeah.
See, and I don't think that cuts it. I don't think that cuts it.
To me, that would be a disappointment. I would think. If you looked at Man of Steel as a disappointment, then why wouldn't you look at that as?
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
$63 million, bro. It's on file. That's how much they spent for this movie. Now, obviously, they're at WB. They're not really coming out and telling you exactly how much they spent, but they released that thing to the public, man, and it's on file in Ohio. You can look it up, and it says that they spent $363 million. I did the math. You have to make $850 to $900 just to break even, bro.
Yeah. And you got to factor in marketing and all that stuff too.
But here's the thing with the comparison to Man of Steel, and we have to highlight this, okay? Man of Steel did what, like 600 million back then? Or it was around there.
I think it was 7, wasn't it? It was around
close to 7.
Yeah.
But
90 or something. Yeah.
You have to also factor in that $700 million 13 years ago is a lot more money than $600 million, $700 million today. When you adjust for inflation, adjust for inflation, Man of Steel made over $1 billion today.
Yep, it did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. It is. I will say it's a difficult movie to get a read on because of all the noise around it. Like sometimes, like it's hard to get a good read on how much this movie is actually influencing the culture at this point already. I don't really see it personally. Again, like I said, in my everyday life, I see a lot of it on social media, but that's not a good indication to me. To me, if it didn't make $1 billion, I would have to say that would have to be considered a failure. I mean, I don't know. Like, I know the Batman didn't make $1 billion, but that was also a smaller movie in the context of, like, I think budget and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how much the Batman cost, to be honest with you.
It was like 250.
Yeah, it's a
like
little
that,
bit
yeah.
less. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it was like 250.
but I mean, that's getting a sequel, like, right? So, or maybe
It's taken about 5 years.
maybe, but
we'll see about that.
So that to me kind of puts, like, is that where WB's headspace is at? Do they want to be in that same range? I guess I don't know. Listen, I just think that, like, Superman as a character is already a hard sell for some people. There's a lot of people who don't like Superman. I know that for a fact. Like, I love him, of course. You guys love him, but it's like, I know for a fact there are a lot of people who just aren't interested in the character of Superman. Like, we found that out when they did Superman Returns, right?
Yes.
Like, it was supposed to be a return to form. He's coming back to his old ways. It's going to be Christopher Reeves reincarnated, and nobody cared. Like, so it's like, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that style of Superman is necessarily going to work. My thing with the new Superman, and I've said this since the beginning, is that it doesn't feel like he has his own identity as of yet. To me, it does feel like a rehash of a lot of things that we already saw in Man of Steel, mixed with a little bit of Christopher Reeve stuff. So it feels like they're just taking parts of different Superman and kind of throwing it into one guy.
That's exactly what I said. I said they took pieces, man. It's like a puzzle, dude. He took elements from that. He took the Kingdom Come shield, and then he put it into a retro futuristic style. I'm like, what is? I don't get this, man.
It feels very safe to me. Like, it's like, again, like Ray's super chat. Like, you have Zack Snyder, you have Christopher Nolan, you have Tim Burton. Now, whether you like those people's movies or not is irrelevant. The point is each of them have their own individual style. They brought something unique to the property, each of them. They're very distinctive from each other, right?
They were all their own takes.
Yeah,
it was all very different
exactly.
from one another. Yeah.
I don't get that impression based on what I've seen from James Gunn's Superman. It doesn't even really look like a James Gunn movie. So if I'm
my
being
issue
honest,
is he doesn't look like
I know
Superman.
You got chopped up for that one, bro. I was looking at your comments the other day. I was like, "Oh shit, they's trying to slice my man up over the Superman movie, bro." Like,
yeah, but I want to say though, it's for me, I don't feel like David Cornsweet when you cast a Superman actor, okay, that actor has to have the aura of Superman. I should look at him and be like, "Holy shit, that's Superman."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
For me, that happened with Henry Cavill. That happened with Tyler Hoechlin. That happened with Dean Cain, because I grew up in the 90s. You know, to me, he was my Superman growing up, my live action Superman growing up. There's an aura to the character that the actor must possess. And from what I've seen from the trailer, from David Cornsweet so far, that's what I think he's lacking. To me, he looks like a man in a costume.
Yeah,
you ready? I was just about to say he looks like a 18-year-old walking his ass over to Party City and about to get him a costume. Real shit. I'm not playing. That's what it looks like, bro. His suit is rubber. It looks like I'm like, I don't feel Superman in this suit at all. You can throw. I don't care how pretty you think that cape is. Look at the suit. It looks like scuba gear. It does, man. It's rubber. And you got draws. You got draws and a plastic yellow belt outside of some rubber suit like that. It does not look right. It just doesn't.
It's almost the same material as the Guardians of the Galaxy. In
identical.
It's like this. It's like he took the same costume designer basically and said, "Make
well, what a coincidence!" Because that's exactly what he did.
Yeah,
he went back to his Guardians of the Galaxy designer and told her to make that suit. That's what he did.
This is exactly what I think is going on here, and this is what people get on me about, but it's whatever. This is the impression that I'm getting based on the things that are leaking, what I've seen already. Like, and again, I told everybody from the beginning, I'm not against this movie. I'm waiting for something about this movie to impress me, and it just hasn't yet. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. Like, so what I've seen from this movie is basically, it feels like to me, they said, do something similar to what we just did with Man of Steel, because they do know that people do like that movie now. They might not have liked it initially, but it has gained a following over time. They want something like Man of Steel, and they're just telling Gunn to basically put his Gunn twist on it, essentially. Because if you watch this trailer, you get the impression that you're watching a knockoff Man of Steel.
Dude, Charles, when we broke down the trailer, that is exactly what Charles highlighted, scene for scene.
Yes.
Charles was saying, this is this scene from Man of Steel, this is this scene from here. Like, he broke it down perfectly, bro.
And they're trying to tell me, how are you trying to say it's like Man of Steel? I'm like, look at the trailer, bro. What are you seeing? Look at it.
There was a whole synopsis, a character arc released on X, I think, or whatever, and I retweeted it, and I was like, we've seen this movie already, because it's the exact same character arc that Henry Cavill went through, and people lost their minds over me saying
the military arrests him.
Did you watch the same movie I did? Because it's literally the same exact character arc. You're acting like this is something new when we saw this 10 years ago.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's very weird to me that people have this like selective memory about this stuff, and it's like whatever fits their narrative, I guess. I don't know, but like, it's like, I get it. If you're I told people, I was like, listen, I like this idea too, but I've already seen it. Like, I liked it the first time I saw it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like,
thank you. I don't need you to rehash that, man. I don't need you to rehash.
And when it comes right down to it, I think they came to the realization that they don't know how to approach Superman in another way. That was the best way to approach him for a modern audience. So they're just trying to rehash it, but just have Gunn put his little twist on it. It's basically what they're doing. Like, just gun it up a little bit, have a little bit more humor, put a dog in it. Like that kind of stuff.
I get it. And here's why I can sympathize.
Yeah.
People do things according to the times that they're in. Okay?
Yeah.
Shuster and Siegel, when they created Superman, what kind of times were they in? Desperate times.
Yes. Desperate times.
Great Depression.
Right.
Jewish people having all kind of issues with Hitler. Okay?
Right.
They wanted to make something hopeful, to make people say, this is the rock for which we stand on. I get it, dude. I get the reason why they made it.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna trap yourself in that world and pretend like the real world doesn't exist, you are limiting your storytelling power.
Yes.
You are. I'm sorry. The real world is a juxtaposition of storytelling. It is, and it's just because it's scary. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm 51 years old. Okay, I love my life. I'm gonna be dead soon. I want to see something that makes me connect to real life in the way that I can see it on screen and be like, "Yep, exactly, they get it." But when you're just giving me stuff that makes me blank out for an hour and a half like this,
and
I have nothing to show for it, I just spent my how much are movie tickets now per person? Like $16, $17, $18.
I don't know. I have the unlimited pass, so I don't.
Yeah, really I just spent my money for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Speaking of an hour and a half, Charles, we're an hour and a half in, and we're still on the first subject, brother.
All right. Joe, let me tell you something, brother. I've been dying to get you on this show, man. Every time I watch your show, you are so impartial when it comes to your criticism. That's what I love about you. I would love to just sit across the table from you and be like, like how Siskel and Ebert used to do it. Remember that, man?
Yes, absolutely.
That was honest. That was honest criticism. They would break these movies down. They would talk about every single element instead of say, "Oh, I think he's a terrible director," and then that's just it. They never did that.
This is trash. This
is trash.
Yeah, like I expect to get YouTube comments like that, but like I'm not gonna say that in my videos. Like if you're clicking on my video, I think you're expecting a little bit more from me than that. So it's like
some articulation.
Yes, right. Exactly. It's like I'm not just gonna come on there and give you the bare minimum. Like everything that I say on every one of my videos is well thought out. It's planned. Nothing is off. I'm not shooting from the hip. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not off the cuff. Nothing like that. Like I think about things before I say them. Like, and I think people don't know how to handle that.
Do
sometimes.
that
it's
anymore.
like
they can't handle it, or they don't do it or handle it.
Yeah, because it's like you see how like the reaction channels are that, you know, blow up on this platform and are like, they're just making stupid faces at a trailer and not really contributing to the conversation at all. Like, I never wanted to be that. That's not interesting to me at all. I mean, I know that would be easy money basically, but that's not what I'm interested in. I actually want to get into the thick of it. And
you want to have some depth and layer to what you're doing. Exactly.
I want people to really know why I like it, not just like see me making stupid faces towards it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, like I like breaking things down. I like analyzing things. Maybe I overanalyze things from time to time. I'm guilty of that, I'm sure. But like, that's what we do, though. I mean, I always explain it to people like this. Like growing up, when we used to talk about movies, like you were talking about, like we would have these types of conversations. We would theorize. We would say what we like about movies, what we don't like about movies. Now, for whatever reason, when you do that, people take it personal. And I don't know why. Like, I'm not insulting you by saying I didn't like something that you like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the biggest problem, I think, with being on this platform right now, is that some people just do not know how to handle that. They don't know how to handle honesty. They don't know how to handle, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's probably the most frustrating thing about this, because it's like, I just had people in my last video tell me, oh, I'm unsubscribing from you because you didn't like this movie. I'm like, you're gonna unsubscribe from me every time I don't like something you do like
how insane does that sound? My man, here's a card for a therapist. Go talk to him.
Like, what do I have to do?
To
like,
you need help.
Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to check with you first to see if you like it, and then I'll be like, all right.
Why don't you write me a list of movies that we can't criticize because it might hurt your feelings?
Like, some people feel like stuff is above criticism sometimes, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, nothing is above criticism. I'm not above criticism. Like, nobody's above criticism. Like, it's like, I never understood it. It's so frustrating though. Like, I almost have to just like block people at this point, or just delete and move on, because like, if I focused on some of these comments sometimes that I get from people, it would drive me crazy. Like, it honestly would. Like, it's so frustrating to put the work into it that I do, and to still people not want to actually listen to what I have to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or not process what I have to say. Yeah.
You know what? And I was discussing this. We're going to move on to the next subject, but I want to cut this in here right quick, because things are easier. Joe, things are too easy to the point where, you know what? I'm not gonna put in any effort, any time, any type of thought process. I got my digital age. I got my phone. I'm gonna cuss somebody out right quick, throw my phone over my shoulder, and think that I did something. No, and that's the problem right there. Is just things are way too easy for people to just not care. And I care about film, and I care about storytelling, dude. I like feeling that moment of coming out of that theater and talking about. So me and my best friend, man, we grew up watching movies. We love movies, and we would always quote the lines and talk about scenes and all that kind of stuff, man. And people don't care about that anymore. They just want to just get zonked out for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and that's it.
And listen, I get that. Like, I'm all about escapism too. I totally understand, like, the check your brain at the door type situation, but I don't want every movie to be that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I want something a little bit more in depth.
I don't want to drive down the street and there's a McDonald's on every single corner. That's my problem with James Gunn. That's my problem with those two. That's why I'm like, I want Burger King, I want Wendy's. If I wanted those three tastes of different burgers, I get to choose which one.
I want some Snyder steak. That's what I want. Some Snyder steak.
You know what I'm saying? If you got the same restaurants all the way down the street on both sides, what's the point, bro?
Exactly.
What's the point?
Variety. We want variety. That's it. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And some people just can't understand that. But I don't know. It is what it is.
Real Shift Joe, sir. Again, thank you so much for coming on the platform. We really appreciate it. Are you gonna be hanging out with us, right? As we
I'll hang out.
Excellent, ladies and gentlemen. Real Shift Joe.
Real Shift Joe, guys. Thank you so much, brother.
I got a drop for him. Hang on a second. Let me go to my stuff right quick.
Hit him with it, brother.
Here we go.
Introduce a little anarchy. Upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, and you know the thing about chaos? It's fair.
You're making me just want to watch.
He is not wrong about that. It's fair.
You're making me want to watch all my favorite movies after I get done now.
You should do that. All right, Joe. Thank you so much again. Appreciate it, man. We are going to move on to our next topic here, which is the trailers. Let me go ahead and pull this stuff up right quick. Here we go. Boom.
Daredevil.
Born Again. Now, I don't know how anybody else feels, but this one, it just warmed the cockles of my heart. Now, I will say this: that execution better show me what I see in that trailer, and how it looked like it is.
Be careful.
It looks like it is. It looks like it is. I'm cautiously optimistic. But
Marvel
like
has a way of making things look like they don't look when you actually see them. I'm just letting you know.
They have a knack for that. Remember when the what was it? The I can't even remember the name of it now. It's so forgettable. The one that was on Marvel with Sam Jackson in it.
Secret Wars.
What is the name of it? Secret Wars, yeah. That had you like, oh man, it's gonna be so tight. Man, look at that. And then you got it to and you're like,
I lasted like 2 episodes, maybe. I was like, yeah, I'm done with this.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen right quick. Give me a second here, fellas.
But yeah, here's the thing: Daredevil has some Disney Daredevil has some big shoes to fill. Like for me, the Netflix series Daredevil on Netflix was peak Marvel. I don't think it got any better than that, in my opinion. The Daredevil, Punisher, that whole run that they did there was phenomenal. So my expectations are pretty high here.
All right. Can y'all see that?
Yeah. Yes, we can, bro.
You see it? Let me know if you can hear it. Hang on. Can I hear it?
No.
Did you hear it?
And it's laggy.
All right, hold up. I hate this crap. All right, give me a second.
No worries. Next time we got to upload it to the StreamYard like we do a drop, so it's already there. You know what I mean?
That's what like we do a drop because it's already there because this is annoying. All right. Entire screen.
Yeah, Wi-Fi doesn't.
Oh, there we go. Share audio. That's the problem right there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Share. You hear it now? Can you hear it now?
Very laggy, bro.
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
I can hear it this time. Yeah.
All right.
But it's still lagging a little bit though.
Okay. Okay, hold on.
And you just got to drop the audio on the YouTube video ever so slightly because it was a little overpowering.
Yeah. All right. Let's try it again.
Thank you for finding the time. I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant.
Still no audio?
No, there's audio. It's just really laggy.
Yeah.
Still no audio?
No, there is audio. There is audio.
Lag.
Just laggy.
Yeah, the audio is not.
And I'll be honest, Charles. I've been noticing it with your connection this last little bit. You've been lagging a little bit too, bro.
Am I lagging? Crap. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and try and play it anyway. Hang on a second.
Thank you for finding the time. I will admit,
Better now.
it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again. A lot of time has passed. By the look of it, you've come up in the world. I could say the same about you. The mayor serves his city. I can see you're not entirely convinced. Can you blame me? I can't shake the feeling that you're gaming the system. Why did you stop being vigilante? The line was crossed. It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature. Hating the power it has over us. The city can't go unchecked. Sometimes peace needs to be broken.
Chaos must reign. Am I putting the hatchet down? I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised to believe in retribution.
All right, Charles. It was a little choppy,
was
but
lagging.
I think
Was it choppy?
but I think we got the gist of it. What I think we got to do is next time in the YouTube options, drop the quality of the video because we're streaming, and if you have it set to HD, I think that might be causing us some issues.
I forgot about that. Yep, good idea. Yeah. Okay, all right, but yeah, what did you guys think? Joe,
I think it's definitely from the trailer has a different tone than what we've been accustomed to seeing from the MCU. That's for sure, which has me intrigued. I will say, I'm not the biggest Daredevil fan, so like it's a little bit hard for me to get invested in him as a character just in general. I've just never really been into him for whatever reason. But I will say that it's nice to see Marvel at least appearing to take things seriously, because that's been one of my biggest gripes against them for a while now, is that they don't seem to take anything seriously, or at least most things. I just prefer a little more grounded, serious take on things. It doesn't even have to be grounded, just like, you know, a little less reliant on comedy and CGI would work wonders on me, I think. Which appears that's what they're doing with Daredevil. So yeah, I'd be interested to check this out for sure. Let's see if it actually translates to a good show. Again, I have my reservations because I've fallen for it before, and then they revert back to their typical Marvel formula when you actually watch it, and it completely takes me out of it. And I have concerns based on how he was treated in She-Hulk as well. So,
that I didn't watch. I didn't watch that. I couldn't do it.
I watched it just because everybody loved to hear me talk about it. That's the only reason I watched it.
Well, yeah. By the way, that is the tagline of his show, guys. I watched it, so you
don't have to.
Exactly. She-Hulk is a good example of that. But I'll be willing to give it a chance for sure. Yeah.
No, I like I said, I got high expectations for Daredevil. I was a huge fan of the Netflix version, and I'm going to give this a bit more credit than maybe I should based on this trailer, because I do agree with you. The Netflix show did seem more brutal, did seem more grounded, did seem a bit more darker. There definitely is a more Disney-friendly tone to this. But what I do appreciate is that there was a point in time where they were actually planning a soft reboot with this. You know, they didn't have plans to bring back the surrounding cast. You know, originally Karen was set to be a different actress. Foggy was apparently set to be a different actress. They were going to soft reboot this. So to see that they actually took the fan criticism and said, like, no, you guys have something special here. You need to use this iteration, and to see them embrace that, you know, it's almost kind of like what they've done with Deadpool and Wolverine. You know, how they had to embrace that that Fox universe of Marvel. Right. Yeah. So it seems like they're more open to doing that now. They're embracing what Netflix has built for them, and they're going to continue from that. So, you know, the fact that, like I said, they've listened to the criticism, they reshot a majority of this from what I understood, because they had a lot of it shot already. Good. And then they went in and changed quite a bit. Yeah. You know what? I have some high expectations. I hope it turns out to be a hit. I really do.
This is the one instance where I think reshoots were a good idea.
Yes.
Usually I'm not about it, but from what I understand, what I heard it was supposed to be, it was definitely. Listen, I'll give them credit where credit is due. Marvel a little bit lately has been listening a little bit better than they had been previously.
I was just about to say that. You know, you can say what you want about Marvel. Yes, they make mistakes like everybody else, but when it comes to the listening, they're a little bit better at it than DC. As a matter of fact, they're much better at it. than
Yes.
DC. I would say.
Yes. Listening.
So,
yes. Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
they do that. So if they can, like I said, I felt it when I watched the trailer. Again, watching the actual show, that could be a completely different story. But so far, I like the trailer, and what I like most about it is it people didn't pay attention to the the organs that were playing in the background. That's actually the theme song to the actual original Daredevil song.
Okay.
Only it was on keyboards. Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool. So they kind of reworked it. That's cool.
They just reworked it. Yeah. So
I really hope they keep the intro from the original show with the red dripping. It looked like a wax, like it was like a waxy kind of red. Dude, they got to keep that. It was so good. So good.
Yep.
I got hyped
One
every time.
question I want to highlight here from Futuretron. Real Shift, are you excited for Jurassic World Rebirth and Fantastic Four in July?
I'm cautiously excited for Jurassic World Rebirth. The Jurassic franchise is a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. So, outside of the last two movies, I like most of them. So, but this seems like kind of a soft reboot, which I think they need. A little less reliance on nostalgia and kind of maybe taking it in a new direction. I think that'll be good. It's got Gareth Edwards directing it, who did the Godzilla reboot also. So that has me a little bit optimistic. As far as Fantastic Four goes, I mean, I'd like to be interested. I've always been of the opinion that Fantastic Four is a hard sell translating from comic to live action. I don't think it translates well. We've seen many people try and it never seems to work. And I don't really like the cast all that much. I think the some of the casting decisions were a little underwhelming. So I'm not really all that excited for Fantastic Four, but again, willing to give it a chance. But just what I've seen so far, no, not really for Fantastic Four.
I'm waiting for him to review that movie. He gonna rip it apart.
I gotta highlight a comment real quick. It's from Rocco the Great. I love that name, by the way, Rocco the Great.
Oh, that's
Real Shift. Real Shift is my favorite YouTuber.
Yes,
so I wanted to highlight that.
All right.
That's my boy Rocco. I've been on his channel many times also. So, and he's been on mine. He actually, if you've ever seen one of my live streams, I don't do them anymore, but I used to do them a lot. He was like my go-to partner for that. So, he actually is the one who encouraged me to keep going when I was thinking about quitting YouTube.
Awesome.
I owe a lot to him, actually.
That's really, like I said, strong name, Rocco the Great. I love it.
Yeah, he's a toy YouTuber, like so he does toy hunts and stuff like that. So, if you aren't subscribed to him, please do so because he's definitely worth it. Like he puts a lot of work into what he does. So,
and for those who don't know, the reason why I like the name so much is because that's my name. That's
really? Oh,
Rock Talks Rocco. That's my actual name. I've never actually said that on stream before, but yes, my real first name is Rocco.
Well, now I know two Roccos.
now I know your name, son.
You know my name. You're gonna find me.
Watch out!
I got Money Saving with Mimi says, "Hi, chat. Real Shift. Your channel is awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate that. All right, so we are going to move on to this next one here. The trailer. I wanted to play this trailer also from the Stephen King adaptation, The Monkey. Now, I liked the story in the book. It was pretty creepy. So I want to play that trailer and see what people think of that trailer as well. Give me a second here.
Don't forget to drop the quality. Hopefully that'll help with the...
Yeah, I dropped it down to 480.
Yeah, that might help.
Maybe that might work. We'll see. All right.
Well, I notice your connection's getting better too. You're not lagging out, so
okay. Share audio. Yeah. There we go. Y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Let's see what it plays with that.
Everything okay up there?
Yeah, everything's fine.
It's a little laggy still, Charles. Can we drop it anymore?
Oh, that's odd. I don't remember locking this.
You wouldn't have to remember if my wind-up toy monkey at the yard sale.
Oh, not a cherished childhood memory now, was
Yeah,
it?
pause it, Charles. Pause it.
No.
What did it do?
Can you hear me?
Hang on.
Yeah, see if we could drop it a bit more, bro. See if we could drop it down a bit more.
I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it.
All right.
I'm gonna drop it to 240.
and try to restart the video. It should help.
The coroner said
Okay.
Everything okay up there?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Oh, that's odd. I don't remember locking this.
You wouldn't happen to remember if my aunt had a wind-up toy monkey at the yard sale?
Oh, not a cherished childhood memory now, was it?
No, 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 no!
the coroner said it was an accident, but it was no accident. It was a monkey. When I was a kid, my twin brother and I found something that loved to kill. I did everything I could to make it go the fuck away. But it had other plans. Hello, brother. Bill. The monkey that likes killing our family. It's back. It must be vanquished.
Why don't you vanquish it, huh, Bill?
Wait!
We have been chosen to witness its power over life and death. In its most...
It's a toy monkey?
It's evil. It's basically the devil.
And that's life.
Oh, fuck.
All right.
Still a little choppy, but I think we
That
got
was
the
the
gist of
monkey.
it, man. That gave me some Chucky vibes, bro.
I was thinking it's more of a horror comedy than I originally thought it was going to be. Like the first trailer I saw of it, it looked more like
Yeah,
a
I
straight up
thought it
horror
was gonna-
movie. Where this one, it makes it look a little bit more like a Sam Raimi-esque,
Yes.
like horror comedy kind of thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Like someone said, it's directed by Osgood.
Yeah, I
Perkins,
read the
did,
story for it.
Long Legs. Yeah, so I didn't care for Long Legs as much as everyone else did, but I'm definitely willing to give it a chance, though. I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah. Thanks.
All
What's up,
right.
Legion?
Legion of Comics. Real Shift brought me here. All right. We appreciate you stopping by, Legion.
Charles, what was your take?
I want to see it. It's I'm a fan of James Wan when it comes to the horror stuff. So when I found out he was a part of it, definitely I'm gonna check it out. So yep.
I don't know if it's necessarily something I'd go see in theaters, but I would watch it if it came to digital. Like I'd pay to watch it. Like it does look like something I would enjoy, but I just don't know if it's something that would bring me out to theaters. Like I said, like I was saying, I got like a Child's Play Chucky kind of vibe from that, which is kind of cool. Which is kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, it for what it is. I mean, I'm not the biggest horror guy, but it looks like something I could maybe shut my brain off for a couple hours and just enjoy.
Yeah. That it's like me. I think. What I got like it's like a top 5 for me, I guess. But sci-fi obviously is number 1. And then like the action thrillers, like the Bad Boys and the all those buddy cop movies. So that's like number 2. Number 3 is drama. So I like drama for number 3. Number 4 I like horror, and then obviously number 5 is comedy. But yeah, so like in that order.
I think the horror comedy thing, it's a fine line sometimes. Like it doesn't always resonate with me. Because usually when I go to see a horror movie, I'm looking for more straight up horror. Yeah. So it's going to be maybe be a tough sell for me personally, but it looks unique enough to where I think I'm willing to at least give it that opportunity to impress me. So we'll see. I like that it's We need more good Stephen King.
Stephen King, yes,
good
definitely.
Stephen King adaptations, because I don't feel like his work gets the proper adaptation most of the time. So
exactly. They're like they. It's almost like they're not outstanding. They range from like that was pretty good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Kind of like that. So yeah.
Like the best one to me is The Shining, and that one isn't even faithful to the book. So
yeah,
so it's like,
you know what I didn't mind was I actually didn't mind Thinner. I thought Thinner was pretty good.
Yeah.
Thinner was not bad. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah,
I liked the chapter 1 of it, the remake. I did like that. Not so much chapter 2, but yeah. But he's had some good adaptations, but a lot of them kind of missed the mark. So here's hoping this one might be good. We'll see.
I didn't know he did it.
Yeah. He actually the original. Yeah, actually, the original It with what's his name? Oh man,
I know who you're talking about.
His name just left me.
Yeah. Damn it! I gotta pull it up.
Help me!
I gotta pull it up.
Why am I drawing a blank? Anyway, the original It. That was one of my earliest horror movie.
Tim
Curry. Thank you.
Tim Curry. Yeah.
Tim Curry.
Okay. There we go. That was one of my earliest horror movie memories. Was seeing the It head pop up out of the drain when the kid was in the showers at the school.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, that scene stuck with me forever, and I was afraid of that movie, having never even seen it. As a kid, I've never even seen the whole thing, but yeah, it was a good one, definitely.
I see. I've never seen the original It. I got to check that one out. I've seen the remakes. I love the remakes. I thought they were great.
Exactly. Yeah. So those weren't too bad. And to answer your question, Demi Ra, absolutely. She asked, don't you like taking the characters being taken seriously? Absolutely. And that has been my entire argument for why. Is love him or hate him, you need people like Zack Snyder, because he is going to give you. He said he wants you to feel something when you come out of these theaters. He said, "I don't want to." And this is a quote from him. I'm paraphrasing. I don't want to make it all nice and shiny for you. I want you to go in that theater. I want to fuck you up, and I leave that theater with an impression like, "Yo,
yeah." And he did that for better or worse.
He did that for better,
for better or worse. He did that.
Sin Havoc has a great comment there. It reminds me of Megan. Have you guys seen Megan?
Yeah, Megan.
It does. It does. I do get that vibe, brother. Sin Havoc, bang on, bro.
Yep. All right. Let's go ahead and go on to our next topic here. We got this is yours, Rox.
Ooh,
Nintendo Switch.
The Switch 2 reveal.
Now, should I even attempt to play this trailer?
You know what? How about this? How about you know what? Let's give it a shot. I mean, why not? I mean, people will get the gist of it.
Let me go ahead and make sure the stuff's dropped on this one too.
Worst case scenario, when we do the recap videos, me and Phil can just edit in the trailer, and you know what I mean. Yeah. So I'm not worried.
All right. We'll try this here. Give me a moment. Oh, whoops. Hang on. There we go. Y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, and by the way, full disclosure, I've had this computer since 2016.
Bro, my laptop.
Look, I use it for work. I have upgraded the memory and the hard drive once. I think it's got like 16 gigs on it or something like that. It's like 1 gig of storage space, but it's an old HP, bro.
Bro, I'm on a MacBook right now, and this MacBook is so old I can't even install updates on it anymore.
Oh wow.
Okay.
All right, fellas, here we go.
Retro vibes.
Oh, dude. So there's a few things I want to say about this. I'm disappointed in the name, how they went with Nintendo Switch 2 instead of the Super Nintendo Switch.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
That's what I would have gone with. The Super Nintendo Switch. Okay, but other than that, I have been looking forward to this for a long time because I am a big Nintendo guy. I've got 3 Switches in my house. I got one for me, one for each of my kids. So I got 3 Switches in this house.
Oh, wow.
We're a big Nintendo family here. Okay.
Yeah.
My kids love their Mario games. I have been, my biggest disappointment with the Switch lately, within these last few years, is there have been so many third-party games that have just ran like shit on it. Okay, just have ran absolutely garbage on it. And I'm really hoping that this product, this upgrade, fixes that. Because from what I am hearing, this thing is going to be 100% backwards compatible. You're going to be able to shove your cartridges in there from your old Switch, and it should work perfectly. So when I look at games like the Arkham trilogy that came out on the Switch and ran like absolute ass, this should correct that. Because from what I understand, the power that this is supposed to have is going to be somewhere around, from what I understand, a base PS4. Okay. So a base PS4 in the palm of your hands, that's pretty incredible, if you ask.
Oh, you're talking about as far as like power and performance?
Power and performance, yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And the Switch, the original Switch, was not able to keep up. It has struggled. It's been a long time now. They needed this upgrade 5 years ago, if you ask me. You know what I mean? Right. But I'm digging the direction that they're going. They're not making the same mistakes of the past, where they are trying to completely remarket this thing as something completely different. They know what it is. They're sticking with the very similar branding as the original. But here's what I really dig, is that it looks like a premium product. To me, when I see that sleek black, the larger screen, I'm hoping that's an OLED screen, just like the most recent Switch that they had. But I'm hoping that, like, to me, that looks like a premium product. That is something that, you know, it doesn't, like, yes, kids will want to play it, but that is going to appeal to me. That's going to appeal to, like, the 30-year-old adult. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to them taking advantage of the hardware, taking advantage of the raw power. I want to see Nintendo games perform. You know, if we could get Super Mario and we could get that cast of characters that Nintendo has the IP for into that next level of gaming that the PS4 power can provide. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could always tell, like, even, like, I don't know if you've played any of the recent Pokemon games. I'm not a big Pokemon guy, but my kids love it. So eventually, you know, I play it with them, right? I played that Pokemon. It was like a remake of Pokemon Yellow from the Game Boy era. Okay. But, you know, they're still very much in that early 2D. You know, it's still, everything's still very 2D. Like, it's not like these open world experiences that you're getting with PlayStation and these incredible graphics that you're getting with that. You know, like Nintendo knows their strengths. You know what I mean? I mean, look at 2D Mario has been one of the biggest things for them still. Like, what was that recent Mario game, Mario Wonder? That's basically a 2D Mario game. You know what I'm saying? And so they know their strengths. They stick to that. But I'm really looking forward to what they are capable of doing with their IPs with this level of power. It's something that, like I said, I wanted this 5 years ago. So to finally see it here, I'm very much excited. I definitely plan on getting one. I just hope that the price is a fair price. You know, one of the biggest issues I took recently with gaming was that PS5 Pro and that price that they threw out there. Like, I'm sorry, that was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely, because I could just spend a few hundred dollars more and get myself a PC at that point. But I'm thinking, if they launch this and they keep it within the $450 price range, Canadian, let me throw that out there, $450 Canadian, I'll be all over it. I'll pick one up for me. I'll pick one up for my kids. You know? Yeah. What do you guys think? You guys Nintendo fans? You guys into any of the gaming stuff?
Not really. I play them. I got the Wii, the very first Wii. Actually, my wife does. We play it every now and again from time to time. My daughter, we got her a Switch. So yeah.
Yeah, I was a big gamer for a long time, but I'd say around right after PS4, I kind of started to check out a little bit. Not necessarily for any reason other than life got in the way, but it's like
It
YouTube,
happens.
family, all that stuff. Like I just didn't have time for it anymore. But I've always been a big Nintendo fan. Like obviously I grew up on the original Nintendo and Super Nintendo. So I always appreciate what they do and how they, like you said, they know who they are and they kind of stick with that. I like that about them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mario games are still fun to me, even to this day.
Yeah, I still love, like, one of my things I enjoy most is playing Mario Kart with my kids, bro.
Yes,
like having that experience with my 5-year-olds is so much fun.
Yeah, it's great.
I gotta let them win, obviously. But.
I'll do the same thing once my kids get to an age where they can play video games. I'll probably do the same exact thing. So I assume like once they get a little bit older, that's when I'll get back into gaming. Because
that's exactly what happened to me, bro. Like I have no time when it comes to like during the week and with my job and doing the YouTube stuff. I got no time. The only time I get to play is when I'm with my kids, man.
Yes,
I love it. I love
exactly.
Yes. Got a question from Hollywood Will Burns. Said, "Do you guys have a favorite superhero video game?"
Ooh, I do. Yeah. I do. I'm going to show it off real quick. It is right here. This is my favorite superhero video game. And we are yet to get a Wolverine game as good as this. I'm looking forward to the PS5 game that's coming out soon.
Whatever comes out.
But this is my crown jewel right here.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oddly enough, I don't. I'm superhero movies, but I don't. I mean, I got Arkham Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. But
I mean,
the Arkham games are great.
Yeah, the Arkham games are great, but I mean, I don't play a lot of superhero games. I play a lot of like first person stuff. So shooter games or Resident Evil games, like the problem solving games. I play a lot of those. I tend to play a lot of those games. So
see, like I'm like I said, I'm very much a product of the 90s and the early 2000s. Like one of my favorite superhero games till this day would be Spider-Man 2 on the PS2.
I remember.
I still don't think that any Spider-Man game has done swinging mechanics as well as that game.
Yeah. I did like the Spider-Man on PS4, the first one. I didn't play the second one, but
the second one's really good too. I did me and my kids had so much fun with that one. It's just they made it they did really take advantage of the PS5 because everything's so quick. Yeah. But the issue I have with it is like the focus is supposed to be in a Spider-Man game, you're web swinging.
Yeah.
When they introduced the element of the web glide, it really could take over how you traverse the world. Yeah. You'll spend the majority of your time gliding more than swinging. That's the one thing I noticed.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I didn't get around to playing the second one for whatever reason, but the first one I spent hours upon hours on. So that was definitely and it would probably be that or Arkham Asylum. I would say the first Batman game. I like all of them, but Asylum is always going to stick with me because that was the first one. So it's like I don't know that game just blew me away the first time I played it.
Did you play that one on PS3 or Xbox?
I'm gonna say PS3.
PS3.
Yeah, okay. I'm more of a PlayStation guy than an Xbox guy, so I have both, but I usually played most things on PlayStation. So.
I've had every PlayStation, but during the PS3 generation, I had jumped over to Xbox 360.
Gotcha.
That was the only generation I had switched, and then right after that, I went back to PlayStation with PS4 or PS5. Yeah,
I got an Xbox 360 to hold me over until I got a PlayStation one time. it was just like a placeholder, and then I was like, okay, now I can get a PlayStation. Nice. But that's the only reason I ever had Xboxes early. It was just kind of filling the gaps. But not that Xbox is bad or anything, but I'm always more of a PlayStation guy. So,
okay. But anyways, guys, that's just that was just my little spiel on the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm really looking forward to it, and I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. That's all.
All right. We are going to move on to the next topic. This one's pretty quick. It's just a Dean Kane
shout out. Yeah. So I was zoom in a little bit more, Charles. So I was being a menace, like I usually am on Twitter, and I saw this really cool picture. It's an upscaled picture, and I had some common people in the comments say, "Hey, it's AI." No, it's not AI. It was just upscaled. We took a low definition photo and upscaled it to 4K. Okay, that's all that was done here.
Yeah.
And I had, let's see what I wrote there. Can you scroll up a little bit there? I was criticizing James Gunn's Superman suit, and I basically said, "What?" I said, "Can you read that out, Charles?"
Blown that the suit, mind blown that the suit from 32 years ago looks better than what today's film studios are putting out.
Okay. And then I tagged Dean Cain's account, and then I just tagged hashtag Superman, hashtag Lois and Clark. And lo and behold, Mr. Dean Cain himself, I think, agreed with what I had to say. And
nice.
He retweeted my tweet and blew it up.
Nice.
So I just thought that was pretty incredible that we had a Superman actor, take note of what the fans are saying, because this is very much how the fandom feels, man. Like you can't look at that suit. Look at that suit and tell me that does not look leaps and bounds better than what the studios are serving us today. And that's from a TV show.
Yeah, let me tell you something, bro. Look, if you want to lean into the nostalgia, I would respect you more if you just lean into it all the way, baby. Make it like this. Right. If you're gonna play up that Christopher Reeve 78, lean all the way into it.
If you're gonna do the underwear, do the underwear. Why you got these fucking boxer type thingies going on? Like,
yeah, it's like they're afraid to commit
it all
to
the way,
it,
man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, you're right though. It's infinitely better than what we're getting now, which is crazy to think about because, like you said, it's a TV show. It's from the 90s,
32 years ago.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about how many things from the past,
bro,
like look better than the things we're getting now. It's just insane. Yeah.
But it's also
Kane.
nice. Yeah, it was nice to see Mr. Kane agree with us.
Dean Cain, if you are listening, sir, you are the man. You are the GOAT. You are well respected as a Superman throughout the 90s. You are awesome. So if you are listening,
that's awesome.
Thank you so much, Dean.
It's even better that you're like a big fan of his on top of that. So it's like like I said,
because he like I said, I'm a product of the 90s, and he is the Superman. He was my very first live action Superman. So like I know for a lot of DC fans, like that was obviously Christopher Reeve, but for me it was him. Yeah. And to see that he agrees with the criticism, because that's what we were doing. We were criticizing what these studios are doing today. To see that he agrees with that and supports what we're saying. I just want to also say this, Dean, if you're listening, if you ever want to come on our show, brother, you are more than welcome. We would love to have a conversation with you about being Clark Kent, about your time as Superman. Exactly. Yeah. So that's an open invitation to you if you ever see this.
That's awesome. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Creature Commando.
Oh boy.
You know what? I am not about to spend a great amount of time on this. I'm gonna go ahead and put my thoughts on this first here. The numbers are bullshit. They think these numbers they think these numbers are something they are not, and I don't think they know math. I think they need to go back to school for some math because they don't understand what viewing numbers are to actual subscribe. They just don't know. What do y'all think?
Yeah. No, that's the impression I got as well. Based on the comparisons that are being made on social media right now by people who are not being blinded by all this. It's very clear to me that there's some inflation going on. There's some manipulation going on. They want this to be perceived as a success, but I'm not entirely sure that it is. Outside of the handful of people who just shill for everything James Gunn, I haven't really seen anybody talk about this show, if I'm being honest.
I haven't even watched it, bro.
I watched 2 episodes.
Nope.
That was it. That's all I did.
Good.
I gave it an opportunity. It didn't do anything for me, and so I said I'm done. That was it. Like I'm willing to give everything an opportunity. I tell that to people all the time, even if not necessarily a fan of James Gunn's work most of the time. I'm willing to give him an opportunity to impress me.
You know what? For me, it's like it wasn't about giving him the opportunity. It's that my time is precious. I have very little time, and if I'm going to dedicate my time to a television show, I want to know that show's good. And from everything I've seen online, from all the banter, all the talk, all the tweets, all the spoilers that got out there, all the everything, it's like, you know what? It's not for me. This is not what I want from DC, so I'm not going to support it.
Just a strange way to start your
universe. Yep.
I don't know what he was. I mean, I know what he was thinking. This is in his wheelhouse, so it's like it makes sense for him to want to do Creature Commandos.
But wouldn't it have been different if it was live action? Like, don't you think if they had done?
But even so, it's not the right.
No, but it's what he's good with, like taking that niche, those unknown characters, like the Guardians. Like if he had said Creature Commandos is going to how we're going to start the DC universe, and he had done a live action interpretation, I think it would be a bit easier to get behind than an animated show.
Well, WB wasn't putting up.
Look, let me tell you something, man. I would accept homie.
They were putting up money for no.
I would accept him as an Elseworlds guy. I wouldn't fire him, but what I would do is I'd switch that shit around. I'd be like, yo, your shit's not mainlining this continuity at all. I'll throw you in Elseworlds. You still want to work here? You still want your characters known? Fine. I'll go ahead and give you your second-rate, third-rate, fourth-rate characters. Have at it. But you're not headlining. You're not going to be in the main continuity.
Honestly, Charles, at this point, I don't even think they have the budget for Elseworlds. I just don't think they can afford it. Because I think if they could afford it, they would have done it.
Prior to Gunn being hired, I was the one... My opinion, I said they should have just did all Elseworlds, like no connected universe at all.
Like, you just would have had like your single story film.
And I think DC
standalone
thrives with standalone stories. I don't think it needs to be connected. I think there's enough characters, there's enough stories in the DC universe to where you can you could give a talented director free reign to do whatever he wants with a character like Green Lantern or this or that, and just have people kind of put their own fresh interpretations on the character. Like, let Matt Reeves continue doing what he's doing. Like, you know what I mean? I used to say let Todd Phillips do what he's doing, but not anymore. During Joker 1, let Todd Phillips do what he's doing. Joker 2, not so much. But I think that DC thrives with the Elseworld stuff. Like, I'm all on board with them going back to standalone movies, standalone trilogies. Like, I'm so tired. Do you
think the audience would get behind that though? Because like I think what it is for a lot of comic book audience now, like I'm not even talking about general audience, I'm talking about the comic book audience, when there isn't a big payoff, like a connected universe, you know, like, oh my god, I'm gonna watch this movie and now these characters are gonna cross over and they're gonna be spectacular, you know what I mean? When they don't have that payoff, I just feel like it doesn't bring in, I just don't think the audience might accept it as much.
It's possible. It's entirely possible that the MCU's kind of programmed people to think that way. I think in a weird sort of way. Like
when it comes to comic book films, yes.
When it comes to movies, like that's how it's supposed to be. I don't personally feel that way. To me, the first Joker, I like the Batman. I know some people don't, but I know I do.
I did too.
Christopher Nolan's trilogy. Yeah. Like, to me, that's where DC shines, in my opinion. I always say this on my channel, and I believe it's. I think shared universes are a burden on creativity because I think it puts creatives in a certain box. You have to work within these confines. You have to make everything fit. You have to make everything make sense. And I just don't find that interesting as a film lover.
And writers' pros are different. Your pros might be different from mine. You're trying to fit that together in one. That's why Marvel is having so many problems, dude. Is they got like all of these writers and they all have their different interpretations on what to
and their
put in
continuity's all jacked up too. Like
it's screwed up.
It gets to a point where it gets so muddled that shared universe don't even mean anything anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I want to avoid. Like, to me, I grew up on just standalone, comic book movies, and I just think that's DC's bread and butter.
So you'd be good with them building up like the singular IP. So we're gonna do the Batman. We'll do 3 the Batman movies. We'll do a Green Lantern. We might do 3 Green Lantern.
That's what I think.
And then we'll do a Justice League or a Green Lantern event.
You could do if you really wanted to tie it all together at some point, do a Crisis on Infinite Earths type thing. and bring it all together that way.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? But make it standalone initially, like
Yes,
no crossover,
yes.
just all self-contained stories. You know what I mean? I think that's I just find that infinitely more interesting. I think when you do the
And
shared
make
universe
that
thing,
story not connected to anything they did. Just if you're gonna make like when you bring them together, make it a completely separate story. Then
exactly.
See, and I'm going to bring it back to Zack Snyder with his DC stuff. In my opinion, his stuff should not be considered connected to the rest of the DC universe.
I agree.
His 3 films were his standalones. You know, you had his standalone Superman, Batman BVS, and then Justice League. That was his standalone trilogy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I understand what you're saying. I totally get that. You know, you could have great stories told within that one singular IP, or, you know, you do it like the way Zach did it. You know, I get that.
And Zach is a great example because to me, I agree. Like when I say the Snyderverse, I'm basically talking about 3 movies.
3 movies. Yeah.
But he gets tied in with all those other movies.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like it muddles the message a little bit because it's like those movies aren't his. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like when I tell people, "Hey, have you watched the DC films?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen some of them." It's like, "Well, you need to watch just these 3. Don't worry about everything. You just got to watch these 3. These are the ones that matter." You know?
Exactly. I mean, if you wanted to consider like Wonder Woman and Aquaman 1 as like a slightly
Wonder Woman, I'll put in there. Aquaman 1, I just to me, there's too much. And this is just me nitpicking.
It's very marbleized.
It's not even that. There's too many differences between Zack's version of Aquaman and the world that he established for Aquaman.
Yeah.
Like to me, I loved that whole thing where when they talked underwater, that bubble, they had that like that bubble form, and it's like they actually communicate. Whereas with what they did with Aquaman the movie, it's like they were just talking. I'm like, that's lame, man. Like,
I'm talking about.
Demi Ray, I feel you.
Yeah,
Demi Ray, I feel you. This dude is. I know. I'm 100%, man. He is okay. It's his ego. That's all I can tell you, man.
And again,
this guy is gonna.
If they came out and said, "Oh, this is a standalone Clayface story and an Elseworlds," like they did with the original Joker film, I'd be like, "Okay, fine."
Could get behind that.
That doesn't appear to be what it is, though. It sounds like they're doing a Clayface movie, and I've even heard that it could possibly be attached to the Batman. So you're getting.
I heard that too. See, originally what I was hearing was there were rumors that Clayface was going to be the villain for the Batman too.
I heard the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, and now that's completely changed up. So what I'm thinking is going on is I think Gunn wants Clayface in his DCU. That's what I think.
Because he already had him in Creature Commandos. So.
Because they were also talking back a little while back about doing an Arkham Asylum TV show.
Yeah, I do remember.
Which that Arkham Asylum TV show, when it was announced, was supposed to take place within the Batman universe.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure maybe longer than a few months ago, it's been a while, but they ended up saying that, oh no, this is now a part of the DCU.
Yep.
So I feel like Gunn is taking what he wants. You know, he's just taking and taking and taking. So,
which is another product of basically meddling in the creative process. That's what it feels like. Like you're just taking ideas. It's shameful, really. Like I can't get on board with it. Yeah.
I'm gonna read this. I got a $10 super chat from the Curly Ray.
Thank
you so much, brother. The excuse for Creature Commandos viewership is that it's a cartoon and it only should be compared to a cartoon, but this cartoon is the start of your new cinematic
exactly universe. Thank you, Curly Ray.
What we are talking about, that's exactly what we're talking about. Stop making excuses like that. If you want, first it's Creature Commandos, then it's this movie, then it's that movie.
Wasn't it like Blue Beetle? Wasn't Blue Beetle actually the first one?
No, he's the first character. And also, like, bruh, stop with all of the word games, man.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just convoluted and it's a bunch of crap. Exactly that. Thank you for the super chat, Curly Ray. I am going to give you a drop here, sir. Give me just a second.
Hit him with
rule of Wall Street. Nobody, I don't care if you're Warren Buffett or if you're Jimmy Buffett, nobody knows if the stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in fucking circles. Least of all stockbrokers. Right? It's all a fugazi. You know what a fugazi is?
Fugazi. It's fake.
Yeah, fugazi. It's a wazi. It's a woozy. It's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist.
It's a Wazzy, it's a Woosie, it's poof, it's WB. They're gone in the next couple of years.
Exactly. You see these creature commando numbers? Wow.
That's their whole philosophy right there. I never thought about that line that way, but it makes a lot of sense. I might have to start using that clip, I think.
Glad we're inspiring you, bro.
All right, we are getting close to time here. I wanted to talk about Black Panther, the recasting. Real quick, we're just going to cover that real fast. What do you guys think about the recasting finally?
Yes, recast. Yes, they should have done it to begin with. It's ridiculous that we're even having this conversation. If it was any other superhero, they would have recasted him already. I don't even understand why it's up for debate. Like I don't like. It's mind-boggling to be.
They did it with Thunderbolt Ross,
right? Yeah, I get it. It's Chadwick and he passed away, and I understand it's a sensitive subject. I totally get it. But from everything that I've heard, his family, him, they were all okay with him continuing without him. So why not do it? Like Black Panther was one of the few bright spots of the more modern MCU, in my opinion, as far as the character and the movie, really. So why not continue that? It makes no sense to me that they would just end it just because he's no longer with us. Like,
so I'm going to admit something, because you guys know I'm not a big Marvel guy. I've said it many times. I'm kind of like you, where I kind of checked out after phase 1. Sure, I've caught some of the big event films, but I haven't seen them all. I haven't seen Black Panther 2. It's something I still do need to see.
I haven't either, and I can't watch.
What I'm curious about is I've heard from fans, from people who've seen the movie that are invested in this stuff, that they did kill off T'Challa's character.
They did.
So that's my question. Now, if they're going to bring back a Black Panther, is it a new Black Panther, or are they actually looking to bring back T'Challa?
I think it's a multiverse situation where it would be an alternate.
It's version. A T'Challa from another universe.
Okay.
Yep.
That's how I would.
I believe they're down to 2: Aldous Hodge and another guy.
Yeah,
I think
I was advocating for Denzel's son, John David Washington. I thought he would have been a good. But I could see Aldous Hodge too. He seems to be the favorite at the moment. But I think it's a simple fix. I mean, you already have the multiverse at your disposal. Yeah. You force it down our throats constantly anyway, so you might as well put it to good use and bring a new Black Panther into the fold. I don't understand why they haven't done it already. Nobody wanted Shuri as Black
Exactly. Panther. That's just my opinion on it. Yeah, they should have done it already. I'm glad they're finally figuring it out. Again, that's Marvel saying, you know what, we need to start listening.
Yes,
and that's important, dude. Again, corporations, we don't bow down to y'all. We give you our money. Y'all don't give us your money.
I think what it also comes down to is they're at a point now where they can't afford to be losing out on any more of their star characters. Their main star, like without Iron Man, you saw how detrimental that was to the MCU, right? And you have Black Panther, who has a very big fan base. There are millions of people out there who love that character, who are going to stick by that character, go to his films, that whole 9 yards, right? They can't afford to not utilize that IP. They have to.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It's nonsensical to not do it, honestly. I'll admit Chadwick was a big reason why the character was so successful, I think, but that doesn't mean it can't continue. Like roles get recasted in movies all the time.
They've done it in the MCU before. I mean, Rhodey.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So, Rhodey. Exactly. That's a perfect example right there.
Yeah. They're doing it with General Ross in the new.
Yes, the new Captain America.
Like it's nowhere near as big of a deal as they made it out to be.
Even the Hulk. Originally, he was Edward Norton, right?
Yeah, which I wish we would have kept Edward Norton.
Yes, dude. I honestly just wish they would have kept that Hulk design.
Yeah,
the design from that first Hulk movie beats anything they did with him in the MCU.
What they've done with the Hulk is a travesty. It's an absolute travesty. I know a lot of people love the Russo brothers, but I can't forgive them for what they did to the Hulk.
Just that one tease that we got in Deadpool and Wolverine.
The more you watch it, man, you're less like.
Yeah. That one tease.
And then when what was it? Ragnarok came out, you're like,
yeah. Thor and Hulk deserve a lot better.
Dude, I was trying to say, that one tease in Deadpool and Wolverine where they had the Wolverine versus Hulk scene.
Yes.
Like, that's a fucking movie in itself, bro.
Yeah. It probably will be.
Like, that's a movie in itself. Make that shit. Like, come on. You want my money? That's what I want.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that's a movie. I think Deadpool and Wolverine basically sent the message to them that we're just going to do team up movies from now on.
do you think we're going to get much more Hugh Jackman Wolverine, or do you think that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You do. Okay.
I think the joke rings true. They're going to put him out there until he's 90.
Look, Ryan Reynolds will find a way.
Yeah, it's going to make money. It's going. I think he'll be a major player in Secret Wars, as will Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
They're going to bring both of them back because they were like the big two for the longest time, and they've never been on screen together. And that's going to be the big thing. They're going to put them on screen together, and maybe even Blade. Also, Wesley Snipes. I could see that happening as well. But yeah,
do you think they're going to bring back?
I do.
They're getting him geared up for Midnight Suns, bro. Just expect
Listen,
they already have
they're
4 projects.
They're giving up
Wesley for 4 projects.
Okay, because but they did also say that the Blade movie is still happening.
I don't see it.
That they have come out and
the Blade movie's not happening, bro.
I don't see
Snipes
it,
got 4 movies cut. It ain't happening, bro. Trust me, it's not.
Okay. Hey, I'm down for Wesley Snipes Blade.
People have spoken, whether or not that's the right decision. The people have spoken. That's all I'm saying, and they want.
Yeah.
They want.
That's all there is to it. Like, as much as I like Mahershala Ali, I think he's a great actor. People aren't going to accept him as Blade. They just aren't.
Not unless there is some legitimate passing of the torch moment.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
legit.
There has to be like you have to have Wesley Snipes' Blade and his Blade in a scene together, like where they see the multiverse version of each other or something, and there has to be some spoken dialogue that passes that torch. You know what I mean? There has to be something.
Yeah, right. It would have to be something substantial. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. All right.
Final thoughts.
If you have comments, questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We are down to final thoughts. Joe, you are our honored guest. We are going to start with you, sir. What do you think about this whole thing, man? About what's going on with these movies currently, man, and what's going on with the industry in general? What's happening? Do you think that these people are? Do you think Hollywood is just losing steam? Period.
This is a controversial opinion because I know people seem to think that watch my videos that I hate everything, but I actually don't. Over the past several years, I've actually have noticed a bit of a shift in the Hollywood landscape. I've seen a considerable amount of maybe lesser talked about original projects that I think are worth talking about that might not have gotten the recognition they deserved at the time, but I think will over time. Okay. There was a point when I hated almost every movie I watched out of Hollywood. Last year, it was about a 50-50 split, believe it or not. I watched about 50 movies. It was about 25 and 25 movies I didn't like, movies I did like. That's progress in my opinion. Like, and I think that's a pretty good ratio also. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I actually do think that there is improvement from certain places, certain studios. Maybe not WB necessarily, maybe not necessarily Disney all the time, which are the two banes of my existence pretty much.
See, I think Universal's been cranking them out pretty good lately.
Universal is making a name for themselves once again. It feels like they are more in tune with what people want, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think there's smaller companies too that are starting to get a little bit more recognition. Like, I used to be a big advocate that A24 movies are overrated. But lately, they have been getting better. They've been expanding a little bit, trying different things, not necessarily just like elevated horror movies. They did other movies too, and I've enjoyed a lot of them. So I think you got to watch out for the smaller companies, because that's where the real filmmaking and the real storytelling is happening.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not in that it doesn't have that corporate formula.
Right. And I think if people,
can you guys imagine if A24 had DC? they probably let them
do whatever they want.
Do your thing, man.
Yeah.
You know what we are. Go ahead.
I saw a graphic the other day. There were 12 movies, I think, from A24 that had the same budget as The Rock's last movie, like combined.
I believe
it.
I believe
They made 12 movies for the same budget of The Rock's Red One or whatever it was called, that horrible movie.
Dude, I've been saying for the longest time, we have all these movies that are costing like $300-400 million to make. Why are you not, guys? Like, you could take it, you guys could drop the budget down to like 50 million. You guys could make 5 or 6 movies out of it. It doesn't make sense. The whole Hollywood model has to change. It's not sustainable.
No, it's not. It's not. And listen, I get it. Hollywood is easy to hate. A lot of times they don't know. They appear to not know what they're doing. And I'll be the first one to tell you that. You can see it on my channel. I talk about it all the time, how the stupid decisions they make constantly. But I'm also one to give them credit where it's due, and to the smaller production companies who are cranking out some decent things from time to time. I'm just saying, keep an eye out and don't be closed-minded, and give smaller films a chance sometimes. That's all I'm saying. Like,
awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Rocks.
Oh man, I'm gonna keep it nice and quick. I want to thank Joe. I want to thank Real Shift Joe for coming on our platform, bro. This has been an awesome conversation. It's a pleasure to have you here. We would love to bring you back for another conversation down the road.
Definitely.
And I want to thank the chat for showing up tonight. I want to thank everybody who threw us a super chat, because this was our first night monetized. So thank you guys so much. We really do appreciate the support that you guys have shown us. I want to remind everybody, please like the video. Please subscribe to the platform. Share it with your friends. In the description below, we'll have a link to Real Shift Joe's channel. If you guys haven't had the chance to yet, make sure you check him out. Other than that, I had a great time tonight, and I am looking forward to being back here in 2 weeks with the homies.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right. My man. Yeah, absolutely. All right. My final thoughts. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to keep it short, but I want to make this one a little bit personal here. So because of this whole discourse, there have been a lot of people that have been feeling kind of depressed and down and things like that. I encourage everyone, if y'all just want to talk, chat it up, come to our show. If ever you want to stop by and just talk about whatever you want to talk about, show up on the show. Come to our YouTube, our Twitter page. Drop your comments in there. We'll talk about anything. We know that times are rough right now, and this atmosphere that we have under this dome of geekdom is all we have. Outside of that, everything is a complete nightmare right now. But for people that are feeling down and people that are feeling depressed, and they just come talk to us, man. It's nice to get a lot of stuff off your chest. It's nice to sit here and just talk about movies and TV shows and games, just to chat it up, just to get your mind off of what is going on in the world. So exactly, just to geek out. Come on in here, talk with us, man. Come on the platform, share your thoughts. We'd love to hear them. I want to thank again everybody in the chat for the super chats. We're monetized now. We really do appreciate it. We couldn't have done it without you guys. Real Shift Joe, brother, thank you so much for opening up your time and your schedule for us, and coming on the show and gracing us with your presence, man. We really, really do appreciate that. We do look forward to having you on the show again, for sure.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Yep. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Rox, you got anything else?
That's it, man. Just once again, thank you guys for all the support, man. You guys have been phenomenal, and we couldn't have done this without you. We could not have made it this far without you, and we look forward to continuing this platform, continuing our growth, and for just doing what we do for you guys. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Thank you once again, everybody in the chat. I love y'all. Thank you so much for being here. This has been episode 15 of the Lethal Geeks podcast. You guys take care. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes till the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. And either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I mean, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. I mean, that's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. You find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're gonna do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team, or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys. That's all it is. Now, what are you gonna do?